This is Monty in the Morning, the show Phoenix Magazine readers voted number one talk radio show in Arizona.
Number one during your morning commute.
Number one whenever news breaks during your day.
And number one whenever and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is the Monty Show. Happy Tuesday, my friends. Rejoice, all Eagle fans. Well, one of them, Tanner Plummer, I don't even know if Tanner's here yet, but I'm sure he's been up all night raging. A straight rage, mate.
Straight rage, mate.
Jalen Hurts fan club in full effect. I think I got 3 games right in the NFL this week.
Excellent.
Okay, we'll move on. We got to talk about Kalani Efsatake. He had some interesting injury things. Should BYU fans be worried the injury bug is back in full effect? We'll talk about that. We got to talk about Blake Anderson. That's right, Aggie tears. We got to talk Utah State football. What Coach said yesterday about his son is powerful. It is important, and I think you need to hear it. We'll play that coming up on Football 50 presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. But, Jake, let's and I know that this is crazy talk here on the Monty Show.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's nutty, you know, the show, which is, as always, presented by the Advocates, Utah advocates.com, you know, like the injury attorneys and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, the best injury attorneys ever in the world, presenting the Monty Show. But we used to do a thing on this show, and we're going to bring it back today. And I know it's been a really long time, and it's nostalgic.
Right.
Are you ready? Well, the wrong banner's up, so I should probably...
Yeah, the wrong banner.
You know, I should probably change that to...
Yeah.
We're going to talk basketball.
Really? What?
I know.
What?
I know. It's crazy talk.
Just take it nice and easy.
Yeah,
Okay?
what are
Just
you
relax.
talking about, bro? We don't talk basketball on this show. What?
We're going to talk basketball because... You know, here on the Monty Show presented by the Advocates, Utah Injury Attorneys, utahadvocates.com.
Right.
The Jazz have been such a big topic this summer. And I think one of the more interesting parts of that is that there's been a lot of talk about the Jazz and Lakers doing business together.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the question becomes, will the Jazz and Lakers actually do business together? And does it make sense for the Utah Jazz to make a Russell Westbrook trade? Now, we've been working on this story for at least a couple of weeks and probably a month if you go back and check our Twitter. But I was talking to NBA sources last night who said that the Jazz and the Lakers have had continuing conversations about Russell Westbrook. Now, that's not new. I think we all knew that the Lakers and the Jazz were going on. But I think the one guy in the middle of this Utah Jazz LA Laker conversation that is really significant is Jordan Clarkson. And do the Jazz have an appetite to trade Jordan Clarkson? And I got to tell you, I am not convinced they do. Jake, do you believe the Jazz want to trade Jordan Clarkson?
No, I mean, I don't think the Jazz want to trade Jordan Clarkson. I think that Jordan Clarkson has always been a great Jazz man, and I think he's great for anybody's locker room, and I think the Jazz are well aware of that. And I think, you know, for Jordan, he's been a Jazz man for quite some time now, and he's represented the organization well. And, by the way, he's a good basketball player. He provides quite a bit of value, whether you were to start him on this young team or bring him off the bench. I think he provides a lot of value. So to me, I don't think if you're the Utah Jazz, you want to trade Jordan Clarkson, but I think if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you're definitely asking for Jordan Clarkson. And that's kind of the trouble, or sort of the situation that, you know, these trade conversations always go to, is like one team doesn't want to move a certain asset and another team wants that asset. And that's why Donovan Mitchell is a Cleveland Cavalier instead of a New York Knick. So to me, Danny Ainge is you know, we know is asking for, you know, 3 picks in this deal, which is an interesting price. But my question is, for those 3 picks, are you willing to include Jordan Clarkson in the deal? And based on Danny Ainge's behavior, I doubt that. I think the 3 picks I think the 3 picks is going to be, you know, Bogdanovich and Conley for 3 picks. That's what I think he wants, but I don't know. Danny's just not shown any willingness to acquiesce, if you will, or compromise.
Well, I also think that we're talking about pick swaps. I think Danny Ainge is in a position where now he's trying to upgrade the picks that they currently have. And I think if you make a deal with the Lakers, I think pick swaps are going to be front and center in that. And I also think that they want to hang on to Jordan Clarkson. And not to be redundant, I just don't believe the Jazz have an appetite to trade him. I don't think the Jazz are actively working, or, they're not like, well, we got to trade Jordan Clarkson. I just don't buy that. And I know that the Jazz have struggled to find a market for Mike Conley. I know they would like to move that deal off their books, but they've not really been able to do that as part of these other deals that they've done. And it's a little surprising that both Clarkson and Conley are still on the roster, but here we are a week away from training camp, and Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson are still on the roster, which I think is really interesting. But I also know that the player that's in most demand on this Utah Jazz roster right now is Bojan Bogdanovic, and I can tell you that Philly's looking for him just based on his size alone. I know the Lakers have shown significant interest in Bojan Bogdanovic for over a month now, really dating back to the Lakers trying to become that third team in the Knicks-Jazz deal that never was. I think that the New York Knicks would love to get their hands on Jordan Clarkson and Bojan Bogdanovic. So there are deals out there for the Utah Jazz and Danny Ainge to make. I guess the question is, what is the Jazz willingness and what is their wherewithal to take on a contract like Russell Westbrook? Because it's $47 million, which is not insignificant in today's economics. I mean, that is a lot of money to buy out a guy, right? So the question is, does Ryan Smith, does Danny Ainge have the appetite to buy out a guy like Russell Westbrook? Because let's be honest, Russell Westbrook does not have a place to play in the Utah Jazz lineup. He does not have a place in this town. I don't think that Jazz fans would accept him. I think it would be very uncomfortable. I think Russell Westbrook, if he were here, would be a ball-dominant player out to prove that he could still play, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But the way that he performed in L.A., I don't know that, Jake, the Utah Jazz want to be the proving ground that Russell Westbrook still has something to offer in this league.
Yeah, and I think it begs the question, like, what the Jazz goal is at this time. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying they've made a lot of deals, and the roster is still fluid. But I think, right now I think we're just short of a month now till training camp. I think it's like 28 days or whatever it is. You got to get this roster sort of solidified and get it going. I mean, if you follow the Utah Jazz on their social media, you know that guys like Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson and the vets are in the gym getting their work in. And so to me, these guys know two things. They know that, this is a young team and they're going to have to produce on this team. And two, they also know that they're going to have to produce because there's a decent chance they're going to get traded. Yeah. So that's why I say I think a lot of these, these veterans that are still here know that it's time for them to stop having, hammies that keep them out, Mike Conley. It's time for, Bojan Bogdanovic to make a wide open game-winning three, game-winning shot to beat Dallas. Like, it's time to make those shots. It's time to be healthy. And so, to me, I just think if you're the Utah Jazz, bringing on Russell Westbrook and bringing that circus to town, to me, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, he has a lot left in the tank. I don't have any doubt about that. The guy can still play basketball, and he's got several years left at a decently high level. But I just don't know how you explain what happened last year. That's the problem. Because if we were able to sit here and say, yeah, Russell Westbrook is still got that same explosiveness, he still will posterize people, maybe his shooting isn't the best in the league, but it's passable. Because that's all I think people want is passable. It's doable. It's workable. But when you're, and again, I'm not even trying to joke or be tongue-in-cheek. Literally, when you're shooting the ball off the side of the backboard, when your shots are not even close and it's ugly, teams don't have an appetite for that. And that's what I think is a bit frustrating for the Lakers is Bron allegedly had Russell Westbrook come to this team. And
Bron?
Yeah, LeBron James.
Oh,
Bronny
King, never heard of him.
Yeah, dude. So he had him come to the team and it didn't work out. And now.
But what is the real value in that? Like, it to me, and this is the Laker question. And I think this comes up a lot. I know we've talked about this repeatedly. How much pull does LeBron really have on that team? So you buy that he was the one who said, hey, bring Russell Westbrook, we'll make this work.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I don't know how much I believe
LeBron, I think, has done that multiple times in his career. In Cleveland, the Miami situation. Like, I think LeBron's put together a lot of these teams that he's played on, and it has worked out reasonably for him. I mean, obviously, when you're the best player in the league for as long as he was and you make as many NBA Finals appearances as you did, you're obviously doing something right. But I just think that the problem is that, the Lakers pandered to LeBron, which I understand to a certain extent. The problem I have is the way LeBron goes about it is very different than the way, like, Kobe went about it. Kobe just didn't care. Like, Kobe was going to go out there every night and give you everything he had.
I don't know that that's fair.
Well, I think it's
comparing
fair
anybody to Kobe is really difficult.
I think it's very fair because Bron is trying to say that he's the best player that's ever been, and Bron's trying to say that he wants to be the greatest Laker there ever was. So if that's going to be the case, then you're putting yourself in the likes of those guys. So I'm not sitting here trying to have a Kobe versus LeBron debate, but what I am simply saying is that you never had these conversations when it was the Kobe show, right? We were too busy talking about
show.
We were too busy talking about how Kobe was a bad teammate and how he was an asshole.
No, look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong on any level. What I'm saying is I can see a scenario where the Lakers went to LeBron and said, hey, we're looking at this guy, Russell Westbrook. Where are you at on that? Hey, I like that. Yeah, let's go do that.
Having fun is the name of the game.
Yeah, like I can see that happening, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that LeBron went to Rob Pelinka and said, you've got to go and get me Russell Westbrook. I don't believe that happened. I think that LeBron James has a say in what they do on the floor, and why wouldn't you want your best player to be on board with the moves that you're making? But I have a hard time believing that he's the one that said Russ is a good fit here. That just seems off to me. Now, does LeBron have too much sway in that organization? I think at one time he did, but I am a big believer just in the time that I worked around the Lakers and worked around Jeannie Buss. I'm a big believer that she still is a significant voice in that organization. I am a big believer that Rob Pelinka has less power than he had in the past. I think it's now or never for this group of Lakers, but I also think that it's incredibly unfair to continue to compare LeBron and Kobe, because I just think Kobe was a different guy. He was unquestionably the best player in this league his entire career. And I just think in his prime, there was no doubt about that. Arguably, he is the best player of his generation. LeBron James is not nearly as successful as Kobe, but I'm saying it's unfair to compare them, and what am I doing? I'm comparing them. My point is, I do think the jury's out on whether LeBron's been a successful Laker. I think there's a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
I think this is an incredibly important discussion. This is an incredibly important time for LeBron. That's why this is an incredibly important trade between the Lakers and the Jazz were it to go down.
Yeah.
And I think if I am the Lakers, I'm not doing this trade without Bogdanovich and Malik Beasley, because those are the two guys that I think make the Lakers championship contenders in the West.
Right.
Because, again, if we go up and down the standings in the West, I think it's incredibly deep. And nobody's talking about the Clippers, by the way, who are going to get a healthy Paul George and Kawhi Leonard back. I think that's incredibly impactful in the West.
Yeah.
I don't believe currently now, the way they're constituted, that the Suns are a championship contender.
Well, and what's going on in the organization, I mean.
But all that aside, with what, the racist Bob Sarver, whatever all that mess turns out to be, as they are currently built, because nobody's asked out. Chris Paul hasn't asked out. Book hasn't asked out. But if you look at the way that roster is put together, there's a reason they're shopping Jay Crowder.
Right.
They know what they need. The Lakers know what they need. How many teams are in position that Golden State's in where they've got what they need? They just won a championship, and they're pretty much all coming back together.
Yeah.
Very few. And the Lakers are not in that group. I think the Lakers right now are highly questionable.
Keep it real.
Well, seriously, if you just look at the core of that team now, you can't tell me that Russell Westbrook is a fit on that roster. And my bigger question is, what is Patrick Beverley's role now that Dennis Schroeder's back?
Yeah, and I think this is the dynamic that's at play. I think it's a great question. I mean, you have Schroeder, Beverley, and Westbrook until he's traded, if that trade happens, on this roster. And I think that Schroeder is the backup to Russ, and Russ and Beverley are your point guards. And then you're going to figure out, LeBron and Anthony Davis and whoever's going to stand in the corner and shoot threes. But that's why I think the Lakers want Bojan Bogdanovic, because that's what he does. So to me, I just think the Lakers are in this place where they have to kind of pick their poison. You have to decide, do you want to push and try to force a trade to get Westbrook off your roster? Do you actually believe that Darvin Ham and that coaching staff can get Westbrook back to a position where he's, serviceable? And I know you don't believe that.
How do you even go about doing that?
Because last season was so utterly abysmal that I think people are like, man, that must have just been a bad season. That must have just been like crap on the wall the whole season. Because again, and we had this conversation.
Crap on the wall the whole season.
Yeah. Because if you guys remember, for those of you who listen regularly, probably 3 weeks ago or so, we had a conversation on this show about Jeannie Buss's comments about how Russell Westbrook was their best player last year.
Yeah.
And on face value, that sounds kind of insane because we all know he had a pretty rough year last year. But at least he was playing basketball. At least he was on the floor. And so that is what Russ has going for him. He is incredibly durable. He is healthy. He is there to play incredibly physical basketball and just power through that.
I'm not buying it. I'm not. Let's get some of your thoughts in here because I see a lot of people commenting on this. I'm not buying that in any way, shape, or form. Ken Williams says, hell no, don't trade for Westbrook. Okay.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Pretty unequivocal answer right there. Just a hell no.
Straight up hell no.
Macho Man Savage, the Macho Man.
Brother.
I thought he was dead. Yes, it gives them 2 more unprotected picks. See, that's what I agree with. Talking with Raphael podcast
on PBS Radio.
Since we're on a rebuilding season, Westbrook can get us onto the playoffs like he did before he left OKC. But see, is he still that same guy? I don't know what happened to Russell Westbrook. And Raphael, I actually don't think you're wrong. I think his best days are in front of him, but he ain't that guy right now. This guy just forgot how to shoot a basketball.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to that question necessarily. I don't know
if he can take them or help take them to the playoffs.
I don't think you put him on the Utah Jazz and all of a sudden you're a playoff team. I mean, and I think this is a really important question. Is Russell Westbrook a guy, if you trade for Russell Westbrook, is he a guy that ever in any way, shape, or form even puts on a Jazz uniform?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Does he ever wear the note on even his leg and a pair of shorts? I don't think he does.
No.
I not with what happened with the fan here, that whole racial thing, back to Ben Napoleon Wilson, getting N-bomb dropped on him. All of that is Russ with the Jazz. The history is ugly, and I don't see any way that makes sense. At least not to me. Man? Right? That drop right there.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Ben Napoleon Wilson, the OKC comes in, and Ben Wilson asks Russell Westbrook, hey, did you guys win that game or did the Jazz lose it?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That was Russ's answer, and then he said this N-word is tripping. And people lost their minds over it. And then, what was that, probably 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
Russ comes in town and gets into a fight with a fan and says that he was dropping racial epithets on him. And I just don't see how he fits here. So I don't think he can ever wear the uniform. I really don't. Sheeran 26, what's up? It says, I think he could do well outside of the Lakers system. And see, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Russell Westbrook can still play in this
But what
league.
is it about the Lakers system that is so troubling? Was it all the wide open shots that he was given and missed? I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but the guy got great opportunities. It's not the Lakers' fault that he just frankly couldn't shoot the ball properly.
Right, but that's not his highest best use. His highest best use is running down the floor with his hair on fire and dunking.
But isn't that now
the
team that he's on? Because but I think that's what they've done with some of these changes. Now you're not asking him to shoot. You're asking him basically to bring the ball up a decent amount of the game and get them into their offense. You're not asking him to be, some prolific mid-range player. And that, to me, I was never a fan of scapegoating Frank Vogel. I didn't like that approach, to be honest. But
Sure.
I do have to agree with the sentiment that he didn't use Russell Westbrook the right way, because it's not a secret. Like, Westbrook's success has always been as a transition, just, run right down your throat to the basket and dunk on you type player. So to me, it just is. He wasn't used properly. That said, I'm not going to sit here and make the system excuse for Russell Westbrook. You're an NBA basketball player, a guy who at one point was one of the best players in the league. You should be able to make a 15-footer 5 or 6 times a game. Like, I can't. I'm not going to let that go.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. I don't. What's up, Jesse? Harsh says, morning, boys. No, for 2 reasons. Dat contract, oof. It's a lot of money. I mean, $47 million, oof. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that at all. You're buying him out. I mean, you're essentially
he would never
buying,
play for the Jazz, dude.
No,
that's not the conversation.
You're buying $47 million in cap space.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And even if he does play, you're getting that cap space next summer.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have it brings you roster flexibility. It brings you financial relief. Like, it gets your financial house in order a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It would move, Boyan's contract off the books, which is expiring anyway. And that brings me back to, do they really have an appetite to trade Jordan Clarkson?
No, that's not going to happen.
I don't necessarily believe they do. Like, I just think there's a lot more into it. And Jesse also says his only friend is the ball. Don't you remember? Not a good player for a first-year coach trying to establish a culture.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Will Hardy is a big part of that conversation. I don't disagree with that at all. Kenai Johnson, top of the morning, fellas. Hi. I wouldn't mind Westbrook, but the old Westbrook. But he wants to play here, but would he want? So I got to go to reading school today.
You want to explain that?
No, I wouldn't mind Westbrook, but the old Westbrook. But would he want to play here? I don't think our fans would accept him. I don't think they would either. But that's just me. Colton Bitten, what's up, Colton? Not to just pay him out. 50+ million is a ton of money for some picks. It is. It really is. Kurt Myers, what's up? Good morning to you, sir. Kanai says, I wouldn't want to just buy him out either. Might as well use him for a year. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think you want him on your roster. Hey, Tanner Plummer, what's up? Did you go to bed last night, or were you up just like raving all night, like cat vibes with the Eagles win, Tanner?
Cat vibes.
Morning, guys. I know I give you a lot of crap, but thank you for all the work you put in on the show. We all appreciate it. Thank you. Well, then, if you all appreciate it, why don't you give us a thumbs up, man? Can we get a thumbs up? I mean, are you kidding me right now?
Do it.
104 people and only 10 thumbs up? I'm kidding. Yeah, I appreciate the thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. On the Monty Show, presented by the Advocates, Utah Injury Attorneys. Check them out online, utahadvocates.com. The Advocates are fantastic. They know that when you've been in an accident, it's a very difficult time of your life. That's why your consultations at the Advocates are always free. That's why they have a chat feature on their website at utahadvocates.com, because they know that maybe it's not comfortable to talk on the phone right away. Maybe, you're just trying to figure out what your options are. utahadvocates.com. Use their chat feature, and whether it's a car accident, maybe a slip and fall, whatever your injury situation is, there's only one right choice for you when it comes to representation. Go to somebody that's going to fight for you, that's passionate about your case, that's passionate about getting you the best possible outcomes. That's the Utah Advocates. Defer your medical bills. You never come out of pocket. The only time you pay the Advocates is when they win your case. That's right. No retainers, no consultation fees. utahadvocates.com. Talking about this Russell Westbrook situation, sources, around the league for the last couple of weeks have been talking a lot about the Lakers and the Jazz making deals. We told you a couple of weeks ago that the Jazz and the Lakers were close. It was simply a matter of trying to figure things out. We were told last night by NBA sources that the real problem here is that Danny Ainge wants more draft capital, and the Lakers are going to have to find a third team. And the principal assets that would be exchanged here as far as players go would be Russell Westbrook for Bojan Bogdanovic, Malik Beasley, and possibly Jordan Clarkson. But that's why this question about do the Jazz have an appetite to trade Jordan Clarkson, I think is a very good question, because I think a lot of people around the league do not believe that the Jazz want to trade Jordan Clarkson. So, and by the way, I think it hasn't gone unnoticed that, he's here working out, working hard. Like Jordan Clarkson's in Salt Lake City working out at the Jazz facility. So, as by the way, I believe Mike Conley, there was a picture of Mike Conley in one of the Jazz tweets last week I remember seeing. So, Jake, those guys are here. Do you believe the Jazz want to trade Jordan Clarkson?
I don't think they necessarily have some great appetite to trade Jordan Clarkson. I think that I think again when you're rebuilding and when you're looking to put a roster together, you need to be vigilant of not just selling off the entire farm. You want to make sure that you keep a good culture, and I think Jordan really helps with that. And again, he's an explosive player. Like, the guy is a good basketball player. There would be no reason to move him, in my opinion.
Yep, totally agree. All right, we'll get back to the Jazz and the Lakers coming up in about 5 minutes. But right now, of course, it's time for Football 50, 10 of the hour. Every hour, we bring you the biggest stories in football, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. You know Papa Murphy's
I can't prepare.
Pizza. Oh, look at you.
Look at me working. You guys complained yesterday we didn't have music, so now I got music.
Jake's got the chimes going
Let's
on
go.
in the background.
Let's go.
How about that? All right. I think the biggest story in football right now is this Kyler Murray situation in Las Vegas. The Cardinals win the game, and Kyler Murray is celebrating in the stands. Look at this video and tell me, do you think that Kyler Murray was assaulted? Okay, watch it right here. Right here. Boom. Hit in the face by a fan. Is that, and look at Kyler go back at the fan. Did that fan try to punch Kyler Murray in the face right there, Jake? And watch it again.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see he's celebrating with this fan.
He's all fired up.
Yep,
Everything's cool.
Chest bumping, hugs. Okay, we're fine.
Yep.
Now we're going to move to the left a little bit, and you'll see this guy jump up right
in
there
the face.
And just slap him in the face. And now I've seen this 10, 20 times now.
Yeah, so for me, the tough part about this is that it's hard to make a case that he's like trying to assault Kyler Murray here, because Kyler was celebrating in the fans, like you're sort of in the mob, if you will, and the guy just kind of reaches over, and admittedly, like, it did kind of look like he reached directly for his face, but what else is he supposed to reach for?
Is that really criminal assault?
Yeah, that's what I have trouble with, reaching to, hey, the guy criminally assaulted Kyler Murray.
Again, you can see, and I'll play the video again, you can see Kyler did not enjoy that part of the program. Like, if you watch this, okay, look, he clearly, bam, we're vibing, we're bro hugging.
We're vibing.
Everything's
good.
Cat vibes, it's a rave, and then boom, right there he gets slapped in the face.
And he didn't like it.
I don't know, man. I don't believe that's criminal assault. Yeah. I think you're Lambo leaping or whatever you want to call it in Las Vegas. This is not criminal assault to me.
Yeah, I have trouble with it 100%, and I think that I don't know what Kyler's trying to get done with that, but I think that I just wouldn't be punishing that fan. I think that was just a happenstance thing.
Yeah, me too. Rec One says it's nothing. Calling that an assault is ridiculous. M. Morris says people were pushing him from the back too. Jeremy Bolton, what's up? He says a guy tried to give Kyler a high five but underestimated his small stature.
Well,
wow.
Little Kyler, verticality.
Wow. Was that a small guy bomb right there? I think that was a small guy bomb right there. I agree, though. I don't think that this is assault.
Yeah.
This is not assault, in my opinion. And then there's this situation with Bucs wide receiver Mike Evans, suspended 1 game for dropping Marshawn Lattimore of the Saints, triggering a bench-clearing brawl.
Yeah.
Tom Brady calls it ridiculous.
Right.
And said, hey, it's amazing that this guy stood up for me, and I love him, and he knows that, and it's ridiculous he was suspended. 1 game suspension for Mike Evans. Justified?
Yeah, I think if you're the league, you have to, just because it caused a fight. And look, I agree with what Mike Evans did. You got to do that every day of the week. It's Tom Brady. That's your job, like 100%. But that doesn't mean that the league has to bend on its rules. And I think that you know that that's the price you're going to pay. Like, I think that that's just what it is. Like, I don't think this is surprising. I don't think it's ridiculous. I really don't think it's even a problem. No, not at all.
I think it's justified. One game's probably justified.
Yeah, like if you'd have given him 3 games, then I'd have something to be pissed about. But one
he's
game
the only one that gets a suspension out of that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is a problem. I think if I don't know why you wouldn't suspend Lattimore, but whatever.
Well, I mean, I don't even know about Lattimore. I just think Mike Evans, he dropped Lattimore like, holy cow.
Yes.
He dropped Lattimore.
Yes, he did.
That was impressive that he dropped him. Football at 50, 10 of the hour, every hour, the biggest stories in football presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you use the promo code Monty25 for 25% off your order of $25 or more.
No one goes all in on made-from-scratch freshness like Papa Murphy's. Because when you go all in, people notice. Go all in with the Triple Pet Pizza for just $11.99. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
There you go. Papa Murphy's Pizza presents Football at 50.
Yes.
10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show. And it is just about 7 o'clock.
Already.
Mountain Time. Yeah, that's 1 hour down. 1 hour down, 2 to go. Here on the show, presented by the Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. Simply put, the best injury attorneys in the business, UtahAdvocates.com. Your consultations are always free, and you don't pay the Advocates a penny until they win your case. UtahAdvocates.com. The biggest stories in sports this morning. I don't think there's any doubt that the heat is being turned up between the Lakers and the Jazz. I think this Russell Westbrook story is a big story. I think Jazz fans are passionate about this city. And, you know, it's not lost on Jazz fans what's gone on with BYU over the last month with the Duke situation, now this situation up in Oregon. And now you're bringing in a guy in Russell Westbrook, potentially bringing in a guy in Russell Westbrook that has had a history of racially charged incidents with Jazz fans. I think that plays a role. We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't forget, coming up here in about 15 minutes, you'll hear from Kalani Sitake. Are the injuries becoming a problem for BYU football?
Yeah.
I don't know how you avoid that conversation because now, wait until you hear what he said about injuries yesterday. It's scary to listen to what he's saying because you really are, that Oregon loss was an eye opener in a lot of ways. And the injuries, I think, were one of the biggest ways. Harris LaChance will join us tomorrow. At 8:30 Mountain Time, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. Harris joins us every Wednesday morning talking BYU football. But let's get back to this Lakers-Utah Jazz thing because a lot of people are on board with this. Sources last night told us point blank that the Jazz and the Lakers have continued to talk, and those discussions have been ongoing for some time, dating back to early July, right after the Rudy Gobert trade. And as we've told you for a while now, the Lakers have tried for a long time to be the third team in a Jazz-Knicks deal for Donovan Mitchell. Well, clearly that did not happen as the Don is now in Cleveland.
Right.
But that does not mean that the Lakers and Jazz can't hook up on a significant, impactful deal for both teams. The Lakers are said to be looking for Bojan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson, and Malik Beasley. And they really want Malik Beasley. Sources told me last night that Malik Beasley is somebody the Lakers value highly for his three-point shooting. But the question again continues, the Utah Jazz wherewithal to buy out Russell Westbrook because most parties agree that Russell Westbrook is not a guy that's going to play for the Utah Jazz, whether it's on his side or the Jazz side. Culturally speaking, he's just not a good fit here with his history with the fans. How much do you think that matters, though, Jake, when we're talking about making this deal? Do you buy into this idea that Russell Westbrook's past history, whether it's fighting with the fans or the things that he said to the media, do you think that hampers any way, shape, or form his ability to wear the note?
No, I mean, I think people always remember. I think people are always going to remember, those moments like, in the locker room with Ben Napoleon Wilson or that fan in the racist bomb thing or, like people remember events. But at the same time, I think on an ongoing basis, the bigger issue is that Russell Westbrook is a fiery guy. He's a fiery personality, and you know that going in when you trade for him. So understanding that, I do think it's something you have to be, cognizant of. You have to understand that Russell Westbrook is fired up to be playing basketball, and he's probably not going to be real patient with Jazz fans saying something. Now, I do think we have to ask the question, if Russell Westbrook's wearing the note, are Jazz fans still going to heckle him the way they were when he was in OKC or on a different team? Probably not. But that's why I say I think there's this balance that you have to kind of consider of like, hey, yeah, he would be a Jazz man, so our fans would treat him better, but also he's got history. And all of that added on top of the jump shooting thing and how bad his season was last year. That's why I say I can understand the logic in buying him out from a money perspective. I'm not saying it's the best idea since sliced bread, but I can understand it. Hey, we need to pick up picks. Like we need to move on from these veterans. This is our pathway to do that. Yeah, $50 million to buy this guy out is kind of a heavy price to pay, but we're fine. Yeah. It's a one-time deal. Okay, we'll do it. So I can kind of understand that logic. But yeah, I think his personality combined with the history, it absolutely is relevant.
Yeah, I think it's relevant. I think the hard part for me is the buyout part of it. Like, I just don't think. You've done a lot of maneuvering this offseason.
Yeah.
Do you really need a $47 million buyout? I don't know that need is the word that I would use. I understand it.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what is the mission here? Because you've got just such a ridiculous amount of picks at this point already. Before you were to do business with the Lakers, it's like, all right, cool, you've got, I honestly don't know what the count is off the top of my head. You must be approaching 20, picks at this point between the Gobert thing, the Donnie thing, like all. Yeah. You got to be. I think you're 15 or 16 right now, I believe it is.
Well, just think about it. And James Knight asks a really pertinent question. James Knight says, guys, do you think the Jazz will take a financial hit with this rebuild on the roster? Surely both merch and attendance will take a hit. If you look at the popularity of the names that have been moved, go back to your guy Joe Ingles.
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Go back to Rudy Gobert. Very popular. Go back to Donnie. Very popular.
Royce
O'Neal.
O'Neal.
Look at Royce O'Neal, a fan favorite. You look at these guys that you've moved off this roster, and I think part of this is the Jordan Clarkson discussion.
Yes.
Not a Jazz fan in the world is going to blink his eyes about trading Malik Beasley. I just don't think they care.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Jordan Clarkson, he is as popular as any Jazz man was last year.
Totally.
And I think now he is the most popular Jazz man on the roster.
Well, and they used him. The organization used him to roll out the New Jerseys. Let's not forget about that.
That's why I say I have a hard time believing that Jordan Clarkson's a guy that they want to trade. My feeling in talking to people at the Jazz is there's not an appetite to move him.
Yeah.
I think they recognize that they've moved a lot of currency off this roster with the fans. And when I say currency, I mean a lot of fan currency. Like, I know a lot of Jazz fans, and they are not happy with a lot of the moves that this team has made. And I also think it's not lost on the Jazz that they're hosting the All-Star game this year.
Yeah.
Your only shot at an All-Star is Jordan Clarkson. And if Jordan is either a starter or your number one option when he's on the floor, he's got a chance to be an All-Star because he is going to fill it up. The guy is an offensive machine. But I just don't get the idea that they want to trade him.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't believe that Jordan Clarkson is a make-or-break guy. Jordan Clarkson, and I don't know his exact age. He's on the wrong side of 30, so it's not like Jordan Clarkson is a young player, right?
Right.
There's value in moving him from a basketball perspective. There's value in moving him. He's 30 years old exactly.
Yeah.
There's value in moving him.
Yeah, physically, he's fine. I think physically he's still in his prime.
But for a team that's rebuilding, you're a 30-year-old bench player is not somebody that you're going to hang on to unless you're the Utah Jazz and you've traded all your other most popular players.
Yeah.
And you need somebody that can score. He can score.
Yeah.
So, you look at say what you want about Donovan Mitchell. That guy was 25 to 30 points a night most nights.
Yeah.
Who's going to step in and replace that? Because I don't know, is Colin Sexton that guy? I don't know. You got a hell of a deal for him. You got him at a relatively low level.
Yeah.
But the guy on this roster that you can count on for that kind of production, in my mind, is Jordan Clarkson. And I think Jordan brings the fans to the yard. I think there's real value in that. But James, I think you're exactly right. I think they're going to lose money on merch. I think they're going to lose money on attendance. I think they're going to lose money on concessions. I think the fact that they're not going to have a new TV deal is crippling to this team financially. And you look at the decisions that they've made, It's funny. We were talking about a business deal with somebody yesterday. You're going to eat some crap this year.
Yes.
This is going to be a year where you lose financially.
Y'all feel me?
And if a year from now you change that, and if a year from now you're a contending team and you're a pushing for a playoff spot, okay, that's fine. You're willing to do that.
Facts.
But if you suck this year and you lose all this money this year, and next year you still suck and you still lose money, I think that's where the problem comes in, and I think that's where you start losing fan sentiment.
Yeah, I think you're obviously taking calculated risks. I think the jersey thing, you just, again, with all due respect, I think you just didn't do a good job with it. And I'm not trying to be mean or hate on anyone. I just think it wasn't done to the level that the organization probably would have, in a perfect world, liked it to have been done at. And I think that the jersey thing combined with this rebuild, rebuild, I guess is the proper word. Like, you have to be careful. I mean, you can't just suck out loud for 5-year windows and think that you're going to be a profitable organization. And I also think for Ryan Smith, reputationally speaking to Jazz fans, he also can't afford to just suck out loud for 5 years, because all you've been saying is the Jazz are going to be a title contender under your ownership. And I think that, it's a hard pill to swallow for your, again.
How much do you think he cares about that?
Oh, I think he cares a lot. I think he's a local kid. I think he grew up here. I think that he's a lifelong Jazz fan. And I think there's a reason he bought the team outside of just being a fan. Like, I think he felt like, and again, I'm just taking him at his word, obviously, so maybe this is all, PR stuff, I guess, but I just felt like he was genuine about it when he said, yeah, I grew up in Salt Lake. Like, this is my home. This is where I'm established. I want to make an impact in my community. And one of the ways I can do that is through these sports teams, which is why I think he's not just own the Jazz. Like, I think he's that's why he's invested in RSL. But my problem
were you surprised he brought in minority ownership?
Yeah, I mean that's why that's part of the reason I was surprised by that, because you're sending, initially you've sent one message that says, hey, this is kind of my goal, but then by bringing in minority ownership, and again, we speculated on that, and a lot of people, at events like we did at Barbecue Pit Stop and other places where we talk to people, a lot of people ask me, like, hey, what sports franchise do you think is going to come to Salt Lake City?
Yeah, that was a big topic Saturday.
Yeah, and so I think people are that's definitely front and center. So my point is to bring this home a little bit. When we talk about Jordan Clarkson, when we talk about trading all these guys, Ryan Smith is absolutely in the loop on this stuff. He may not be in the war room making every single decision, but Ryan Smith is absolutely plugged in with Danny Ainge on what's happening. And that's why I hope that all these picks they've got, I hope that the backside of this process, the side of the process where you start moving these picks to get back talent that can actually win something for you, I hope that happens inside of 2 seasons. Because if that happens inside of 2 seasons, you're going to be fine. You're going to make money. The team's going to be good. But if you just flounder here and you just stay right here, that's definitely going to be a problem.
By the way, Travis Bird has a request.
Okay.
I'm just going to take the word Monty out of this. Jake, come to FanX and cosplay as He-Man.
Okay.
How do you want to dress up as He-Man?
And just kind of scruff it and play with it when it's wet?
I mean, get all the chicks and stuff.
Nah, I'm good. I think I'm okay.
You're not a dress-up costume cosplay guy?
What I just said.
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I mean, but Travis, if you want to cosplay as somebody and post pictures online, well, I'll laugh. Enjoy it with you. If you really want to. Let's see. Hoops World says Jazz will get a top 5 pick in the lottery if they have $47 million in dead cap on the books this season, but I don't think that's what they're after. I don't see, and this is again this philosophical question about the Utah Jazz. I don't necessarily believe that they're all in on Victor Wembanyama, Mama Lama Banana guy. I don't believe they're all in on VW. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to get the number 1 overall pick. Yeah. I think everybody assumes that this team is tanking. I don't believe they're tanking. If they were tanking, would Bojan Bogdanovic still be here? Would Danny Ainge be flirting with not trading Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
Would Mike Conley still be here? anybody of any ability to score the basketball still be here? Wouldn't you be playing every young guy? Wouldn't you be starting Jared Vanderbilt at like all 5 positions if you were tanking? Like,
Keep it real.
I don't believe that this is a tank job out of the Jazz. I just don't. I think what you're much more seeing is they're getting their financial house in order.
Well, we have that soundbite where Danny's talking about how this team has been mediocre for 16 years, and as much as I know this is an interview with Bowler Jack, and hey, it's a safe place and it's just softball questions, I did feel like when Danny was talking about that I did feel like that particular comment was genuine, and the reason I feel like it was genuine is because it's true, man.
The reality is we've had 16 years of, it's better than mediocrity for sure at times in the last 16 years, but at the same time it really hasn't been championship caliber basketball. And 16 years without getting past the second round of the playoffs, I think is not what any of us want. And so the change is just, okay, here we are with veteran team, had been all in on this veteran team. I think Dennis Lindsey has done a fantastic job in this organization, as did Quinn Snyder. And but I just think we're starting over.
I'm sorry. I could be wrong. I thought he said Dennis Lindsey did a fantastic job.
Pause, bro. Pause.
No, he didn't. I don't. And I guess it's just my opinion. I think Danny is an excellent salesman. I think he is an excellent politician. I don't believe for a second that in any way, shape, or form that Dennis Lindsey did a good job. I really don't. You should do a good job by getting to trydaytrading.com/Monty. Tri-Day Trade to bridge in this game. Yeah, the transition and stuff. TryDayTrading.com/Monty is where you get to. Hey, are you looking to get out of that 9-to-5 grind? Do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to keep the money that you work so hard to earn when your company profits? Don't you want to put that money in your pocket because it's your company? That's exactly what you get to do when you go to TryDayTrading.com. It is all about day trading, and I'm telling you, again, I say it every day on this show, I'm passionate about the stock market. I love following the markets. I love following the day trading. I love following hot stocks, ups, downs, commodities, foreign exchanges. Like, I'm all about that. And I think one of the best side hustles is day trading. And Jake and I have told you many times when we worked at Yelp, like there's a huge group of day traders that work at Yelp. And the fascinating part is how they all learn to do that. And I think everybody thinks you just start buying a stock here or selling a stock there. It doesn't work that way. You need coaching. Everybody who does anything in performance needs coaching. That's why you go to Try Day Trading. They've been in business for over a decade here in Utah. Ryan and the guys, Jake and I have spent a lot of time talking to those dudes at Try Day Trading. They're based in Lehigh. They have a long, long track record of success of making people wealthy, meeting goals, performance goals. And the best part is that when we're talking about trading stock, you're not trading your own money. You're going to go through the program at Try Day Trading. The last step in their program is they give you money to trade. And if you make money with their money, they split the profit with you. But if you lose money, you walk away from it. It is very, very little risk for you. That's the best part about Try Day Trading. So get to TryDayTrading.com/Monty and register for the free webinar. They have a great free webinar that's no obligation. You watch it and make a decision. Is day trading for me? Okay, let's continue with the process. If you watch that webinar and you get to a place where you're like, nah, this isn't for me, I don't feel like it's a fit. Okay, cool. Walk away. It costs you nothing. It's a free webinar at TryDayTrading.com/Monty. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. But I love what we're doing with Try Day Trading. I've talked to so many of our listeners who have just taken the time to watch the webinar. And the word refreshing, the word surprising, the word, wow, I had no idea, that we get from our listeners. And, talking to different guys at the event Saturday at Barbecue Pit Stop, 2-3 guys there are doing the Try Day Trading program. Yeah. And that webinar is actually really exciting for people because I think people have an idea of what they think it is. They have no idea what it really is. Right. And I think once you get into it, you realize, hey, this is actually a way that I can get out of my 9-to-5 grind, work for myself, build generational wealth It's what everybody's looking for.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot of insecurity when you're talking about doing something that you don't know a lot about, and you're talking about, in your mind before you learn about the program and before you realize you're working with their money. Like, a lot of people think, well, I can't do this because I'm trying to use my rent or mortgage money to day trade, and that's not going to work for me. Obviously, I got to pay the bills. And I think that, to me, is why it's such a productive opportunity, because again, a lot of people be like, oh, well, day trading is a hack, or it's just a bunch of scoundrels or bad people.
You know the number one thing
the
number one thing I hear is, I can't afford it. Oh man, yes, you can afford it. Trust me when I say you can afford it. Go to trydaytrading.com/Monty.
And one quick thing, I know we gotta keep moving, but one quick thing on this. You know that Devry Davis is partnered with us for mortgage. Obviously Tri-Day Trading is helping you with stocks and trading and all of that stuff. The one thing those two have in common is you just need to get in touch with them and get the education, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't know if I have the money for a down payment for a mortgage. Call Devry Davis. I don't know if I have the money to day trade. Well, go to trydaytrading.com/Monty and get the webinar, because then you can at least make an informed decision. That's all that we're trying to do, is get the information to you, and then you can decide. And that's why I think it's great.
I can't tell you how many people have called Devry from this show, and they're like, dude, you weren't kidding. There's zero down payment help.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Whether
bro.
it's Devry Davis or there's so many people who think they can't because of money or they can't afford it. Is your skin molting off of your body?
It is. Yes, it is.
So we went to Hawaii recently, by the way.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get to Kalani Sitake, we just got back from Hawaii.
Yes.
Now notice my skin is not molting off my body.
Right.
Because and if you would ever take advice, you would know there's this little invention called sunblock.
I used it, just not enough of it.
Okay.
I put the first layer on, but then I never got out of the pool.
Dude, the last day we were in Maui, Jake was in the pool chilling with the hoe. And you were just a lobster. You were as red as...
How about that?
Well, the sun caught you outside. Mother Nature caught you outside.
Yeah, so I'm on the backside of it now. We're in full, Peel Team 6 stage. We're in a good place, but, it's I'm going through it a little bit.
Peel Team 6.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, we'll get back to talking NBA basketball coming up here in about 10 minutes on the show. Stick around for that, because the one question I want to ask you is about Chaboy. Now, if you single up on Jake, you see his guy, his idol, Kevin Durant, right there on the wall behind him. Are the Brooklyn Nets legitimate NBA championship contenders? Are the Brooklyn Nets the best team in the NBA? And Kyrie Irving said something that makes me think that the Brooklyn Nets are legitimate championship contenders.
It is if I say it is.
It is if I say it is. Thanks, Coach Saban. So make sure you stick around for that. We'll get back to NBA hoops here coming up in about 10 minutes. But I want to talk about BYU real quick, because Kalani Sitake left me feeling wobbly yesterday after his press conference.
Connie, please.
He's talking about all these injuries that are mounting, and I cannot. This makes me incredibly nervous to listen to him, because listen to how indecisive Kalani Sitake is about his injury situation.
I'm going off the guys that are out. I think Earl and Batty missed on defense. We're hopeful to get him back. I think I don't know what the right wording would be, but probable would be the one. And then feel good about possibly getting Gunner and Puka back too. So we'll see. I mean, I felt this way a couple weeks ago too, so I have no idea anymore.
That's fucking interesting, man.
Bro. I have no idea anymore.
Bro.
Oh, yeah, I felt this way a couple of weeks ago, and I have no idea anymore.
What the fuck are you talking
about? What are we
Dude,
doing?
Kalani, bro, what do you mean you don't know when Puka's coming back? Dude, come on. I need more Puka smiling, getting off the plane pictures, apparently, because dude should have played and then wasn't available all of a sudden.
Dude, like, seriously, man.
Bro, come on, man.
Are you kidding me right now? Like, you don't know? I don't know.
You're out of your element.
I felt this way a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know.
Bro, dude.
What? This does not breed confidence that they're going to get their guys back.
They
BYU
let you down.
BYU football talk on the Monty Show, presented by Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. I don't know what you do if you are BYU, because now here we are in this same situation, and I know it's only the Wyoming Cowboys.
It's the Wyoming Cowboys.
Saddle up. I don't know what you do here.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have Puka and Gunner back,
again,
and I mean, I just look at Tyler Batty's an incredibly important figure in this conversation.
Yes.
Ask Oregon. His loss was massive. Like, you look at the injuries on this team, and again, I think the real, what is it, tragedy? No, it's football. But I think the worst part of this is you're getting incredibly high quality play out of your quarterback, Jaron Hall.
Yeah.
And you're wasting it because you can't get Puka and Gunner on the field. And I think that you're just not able to run the football. And
clearly, 2.5 yards a carry looks real good right now.
You can't tell me that the BYU struggles in the run game are not related to the inability to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, I mean, they all work together. I mean, they all, and when I say they all work together, they all play a role. I mean, obviously not having Puka and Gunner is a problem. There's just no doubt about it. And frankly, it's no secret, as we talked about on the Football Saturday show at Barbecue Pit Stop over the weekend, that Gunner is unknown. Gunner is probably not going to be back for a while, according to information.
He's dealing with a lacerated kidney. That's not something. I mean, he's going on a month of missed actual games, but he's on like 2 months of missed football time.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they should rush him back, but facts are facts. Like whether you have a broken leg, a lacerated kidney, or your eye hurts and you can't play, like you can't play. Like it just is what it is. That's football. So to me, really what we're having a conversation about is Puka, because I think at least if you have Puka Nacua on the field winning his matchup, you at least have an option. You have this dynamic opportunity to get the ball down the field. And the frustrating thing is you came out so strong against USF in week 1. You dominated that team when everybody was good to go, and now you're dealing with injuries. And it is frustrating because, not having a deep threat, what does that allow you to do? And I feel like I've said this like 50 times, but it allows the defense to stack the box, which then doesn't allow you to run the football. But the problem is you don't have the talent, with all due respect to Chase Roberts, to get open consistently. And so what do you have? Can't run the football, can't pass the football. So we're going to average 2.5 yards a carry. We're going to go 3 and out like 5 times in a row. And Oregon's going to rack up 40 points on us.
We're just going to everything. The game plan is to go 3 and out.
Do you see what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen to you. That's what happens in football.
Yeah, we fired Roderick. We fired Roderick because his game plan was 3 and out.
Where is Aaron right now?
Tuiaki's the new offensive coordinator.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
I don't know. I'm going to play this Kalani bite again because it's just so fascinating to me. Just listen to the way this ends when he's like, well, I don't know.
I'm going off the guys that are out. I think Earl and Batty missed on defense. We're hopeful to get them back. I think I don't know what the right wording would be, but probable would be the one. And then feel good about possibly getting Gunner and Puka back too. So we'll see. I mean, I felt this way a couple weeks ago too, so I have no idea anymore.
You're so fucked.
That's my dude, man. And that's why I love Kalani so much. That's why he's the guy.
Dude.
Because he's like, I don't know anymore. Like, I have no idea.
How is that even possible?
I'm just here to turn off the lights at the end of the day. Like,
God bless.
What? Like, that is terrifying if you're a BYU fan and you have no idea. I appreciate he keeps it real like I do.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, man. Like, to not know. And the Gunnar Romney thing, I think, is probably frustrating for Kalani and company as well, because I think it's very difficult when you can't. As a football coach, you're not a doctor. You're listening to the doctors and doing what you're told to do.
You are getting information and making decisions. That's it.
And the frustrating part about Puka is he breaks off this awesome play on the first snap of the season. He's explosive. He's everything everybody's been talking about all summer long, and then he's out for 3 weeks. And it's just like, darn it, like, hey, how long are we going to have to deal with that?
Yeah,
like,
it's every year too, and the problem is that's football. You know, the problem
that's
is
football.
That's
yes,
football,
it is.
And I think that the problem is the balance you find, and we see this all the time. You see it in the NFL, you see it at the college level, like hell, I'm sure you even see it at the high school level where. You know, you on every team, you've got your best players. You know, you've got your, like for Alabama, you've got your Will Anderson coming off the edge.
Tide.
You know, like if dude sprains his ankle and can't play, that's obviously going to affect Alabama, but that's part of the game. And that's why I say, like, when you're listening to Kalani talk like that, like, I really empathize with the guy because it's like, yeah, dude, like, I don't have fairy dust. I can't just make these guys come back. Like, I get an injury report. I'm told when they might be available. Probable is the right word to use, but the fact is we got to get ready for Wyoming. Like, I respect the hell out of that answer. Like,
I don't know.
And to say, and I agree with you. I think it's really pertinent, especially with all the conversations we've had on the show about guys being genuine with the media. I appreciate that out of Kalani. Just saying, like, this is how I felt before, and they didn't play. So I don't know, bro.
When Kyle Whittingham gives you absolutely nothing on a daily basis, to get Kalani to talk, I don't know. I felt that way a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know. Like, that was both amazing and terrifying all at the same time.
Yes.
And I appreciate that about him, you know? Like, it has been, how crazy has this season already been for BYU?
Yeah.
You look at, like, all the Duke stuff, all the Oregon now chanting stuff, all
Sorry if you're offended by that.
this crazy injury stuff. You improbably go to Eugene and get your doors blown off, and Wyoming's coming in, and all of a sudden Wyoming's a giant killer, and he's like, I don't like that. I don't know. That was just like you know what? Whatever it is. I'm just going to coach a football team.
Come on, man.
Like, the release in that had to be therapeutic. At least
the release.
I would hope so. Well, yeah, you know, like when you just when you just let it go and just give it to the universe. I'm out. I'm doing what I can do. I'm coaching up who I can coach up because they're healthy and they're here. That's what I can do.
Good.
Like letting all that go is amazing. Hey, look, it's Dax Johnson.
Dax Johnson.
Nice Johnson. He says the show was cracking me up yesterday. Go Cougs. Appreciate you being here. BTS Dance Studio says Monty has THT body.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea what that means. Neville93 says, good morning, people. Neville, what's up?
Neville, what's up, buddy?
Beautiful young baby, young daughter that Neville was showing off at the event at Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh on Saturday. And you know, when we're talking football, of course, we're talking Barbecue Pit Stop. Make sure you find all 5 other locations across the great state of Utah. Certainly from Layton, Logan, Lehigh, St. George, Salt Lake City, and Murray, like, find them all. They're all great stores. And really, you know, if you were at the event or not, if you've never been to a Barbecue Pit Stop, you should go. I mean, it is the equipment. When you're thinking about getting a grill or a smoker, that's one thing. Hey, you're making this great investment. They've got all the best. They've got Traeger, Yoder, Big Green Egg, you name it, they've got it. You want a pizza oven for your backyard? They've got that too. Like, all the equipment's amazing. The thing that you're buying into at Barbecue Pit Stop is the dudes. The guys at Barbecue Pit Stop, the quality of the staff. Like, we were sitting there setting up the show, getting ready to do football Saturday at Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, well, how do you guys want to make these wings? Like, hey, do you want them spicy? And Jake whips out his bottle of seasoning.
Keep it real.
And the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to use. And it's like, hey, we're kindred spirits, right? Like, and so we're laughing and we're talking about rubs and spices and, hey, do you want it real spicy? How about we try this sauce? And just sitting there and watching them, make the wings and learning from the guys at Barbecue Pit Stop about, hey, don't just put the seasoning on and then throw them on the grill. What you want to do is put the seasoning on and let them rest. Let the seasoning break down the fats. It'll allow them to crisp up a little bit. Hey, do you use olive oil or do you let them rest on the counter? Like, all these great conversations about making wings.
Yes.
That's the best part. You get really good folks like Clinton, Steve, the guys at Barbecue Pit Stop in Lehigh, any of the Barbecue Pit Stops in Utah. They're just really good people to do business with. Check them out online, bbqpitstop.com. And one of the cool things is, and this seems to be a thing with all of our great partners and small business owners, you can chat with Barbecue Pit Stop on their website at bbqpitstop.com. You can go there, ask them questions, say, hey, how long do I let my brisket rest in a cooler? Do I have to wrap it? If you have questions about anything you're doing, call them or go to their website. They're just I can't tell you enough that the guys at Barbecue Pit Stop are just salty.
And tell them, if you've never been, and you heard it on the show, tell them you heard it on the show.
Yeah.
Let them know.
That's what I'm saying. Let's see. BTS Dance Studio says THT will be a star. I think he's talking about Talon Horton Tucker. I have a better jumper than THT.
No.
What do you mean, no? Okay, now I will admit this. I probably should not bring this up. On a day that we're talking about the Jazz trading for Russell Westbrook. So you know that during the period of time that means you wear something on your face and get poked in the arm and we can't talk about it thanks to you.
We still never talk sometimes.
Yeah, I haven't played basketball. So about a month ago, I got a physical, great health, everything's awesome.
Yeah.
But my doctor's like, hey, dude, you need to, if you want to, I said to him, hey, I haven't been playing basketball because of the thing that's gone on, and I'm worried about catching the thing that's going around.
Those are numbers of death.
And he's like, dude, you're triple vaxxed. You've got your boosters. Go play basketball.
What really do we have to lose?
I'm like, all right, cool. So I go play basketball, and, I think it was the third time I played.
Uh-huh.
We're over here at Vaza Fitness in South Jordan. And I'm shaking that ass, right? Like I'm doing my thing. People are in awe. People are admiring. And then I go to hit a turnaround, and I'm like, oh, you're offline. You better bank it. So I banked it off the wall.
This case is empty.
I missed the entire backboard.
Empty. The opposite of full.
Look, Westbrook, take it easy, bro.
And what did this, bro, right? Like, hey, wingman, he's got my back. Like,
right.
He's like, hey, don't worry about it, fat ass. Everything will be fine, right? No. He's like, hey, Westbrook! Westbrook!
What are you talking about,
hey,
man?
nice shot, Westbrook! It's not like, hey, man, don't worry about it. You're just, it's 5 pounds. What are you worried about? Oh, fat ass Westbrook! Like, just let me have it. Playing basketball. By the way, I believe it was in that same game that I injured my knee, thanks to you, jerk.
Well.
I'm almost over it, though.
Almost.
I'm almost over it. Dax Johnson says, I don't get the Royals either. I know. I'm late on that, but my wife has the same feelings as Mrs. Monty. I don't get it.
Yeah, so if you watched the show yesterday, at the end of the show, we had a whole long discussion about Stearns and Royals and, whatever.
Yeah, because Queen Elizabeth the 19th, kicked the bucket. She's dead. So they had, a funeral procession for her.
A fast pass for Douche Mountain because you're a douche.
Yeah, she's dead. What do you want from me? And anyway, so, they have, I don't understand the fascination. I respect her. She's great. Okay, cool.
Right.
I don't get it. Why did, we were talking about it yesterday on the show, why did every American television network have to broadcast the Queen's funeral?
You're a douche.
Why do I care? Bro, I want inside the NBA. I don't need inside the Queen's casket. Next.
Obviously not.
On ESPN 7, the Ocho. I don't need, I don't get it. And my wife's like, hey, can you turn that on? It's a day of mourning here on the Monty Show. The Queen's dead. And then we were doing the jet copter. I won't, I promise. People are like, hey, that was pretty cool. You did a jet we have a jet copter. We don't. That's a lie. Anyway, the point is, Dax, I'm totally with you, man. I don't get it. Let's see. By the way, BTS Dance Studio says Monty has ever been to the Sundance Film Festival. Yeah, we used to.
Yeah.
When I was at the mighty 1320K fan, the sports leader. Yeah, we used to. We used to do the morning show, Monty in the Morning, with the great late Will Smith.
Right.
We used to do that show live at Sundance Film Festival every year. It was a great time, and I'm hoping to get back this. I think it's back up in full
I believe it
capacity
is.
this
Yes.
year. So
yes.
Yeah, we'll do some snowboarding up there. We'll get back to the film festival. It's a great time. Absolutely, it's a great time. Ken Williams says, no way I'm making the trade and then buying out Westbrook. Sorry, yes, maybe it gets that $47 million off our payroll, but it's like giving away a player for what? Unproven draft picks, yeah?
This man was a bona fide scrub.
But is it unproven draft picks, or is it actually allowing you to buy free agents? Because I think that's what Danny would be doing.
And that's what I think people struggle to look past. Everyone's like, oh, well, they're just trying to be in the draft. They got all these picks. And it's like, no, dude, Danny's never been a draft guy. Danny has been accumulate assets and trade guy.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you're looking at. When we talk a lot of Jazz on this show, and I think the thing that we've all known, back to the Rudy Gobert contract, they at some point this was coming. The brick wall was coming, and you were going to have to get your financial house in order. Ryan Smith is a lot of things, but dumb is not one of them.
Let's settle this right now.
Like we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's so much value in this whole conversation about, hey, should the Utah Jazz make a trade to acquire Russell Westbrook?
Yeah.
And, sources are telling us that the Jazz and the Lakers have been talking for a long time. I mean, and it makes a lot of sense to do a deal with the Lakers. I mean, they have 2 unprotected first-round picks, but I think Danny's more interested in improving the other picks that he has, not the unprotected first-rounders.
Right.
I think he's interested in improving. I think pick swaps would be a huge part of this deal to help them gain more value in the picks they actually do have on the books. So I do think pick swaps matter here. I do think conversations about a guy like Malik Beasley, who the Lakers value at a very high level. I think Bojan Bogdanovic, who the Lakers, the Sixers, I mean, there are a lot of teams that value Bojan Bogdanovic, and I'm not talking about like also ran teams. I'm talking about teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a real need for a 3-4 combo who can shoot but also has some size. Well, that's Bojan Bogdanovic, right? So, and you don't need Bojan to be a 1 or a 2 on your team. Like, he's not one of your top 2 options. He'd probably be 4th on that team. With the way that Tyrese Maxey has exploded for Philly, I think he'd probably be 4th on that team offensively. But what you need him to do is you need him to knock down a 3, and then you need him to get to the basket and rebound, and those are things he's been able to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they value him. You look across this league, there are teams that value Bojan Bogdanovic. I know for a fact that Bojan's name came up with the Bulls in Rudy Gobert trade talks, so there's absolutely teams out there. The one guy that I continue to be, in wonderment about is, do the Utah Jazz have an appetite to trade Jordan Clarkson? And I get the idea from the Jazz people that we talk to that they're not so keen on trading him.
Yeah, I think the struggle is that, so if we generalize this a little bit, if I said, hey, the Lakers or Philly or whatever contending team is interested in a 43% three-point shooter and probably 47% out of the corner, if we're being genuine about what Bojan's top side is, I mean, he could get to those numbers provided he's on the right team, and I think that's attractive to contending teams, because what do guys like James Harden and LeBron and Kyrie need? Well, they need the escape hatch when they get doubled in the paint. And that's guys like Bojan Bogdanovic. That's guys like Jordan Clarkson, if you will, on the right team in the right setup. But unfortunately, that's not guys like Russell Westbrook, because that's not their style of play. So that's what I think is so fascinating about this. But I still maintain in this conversation the most important point in the bigger picture is that Danny's not accumulating all these picks to just go and make like 57 draft picks in 2023, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Like, that's not the game plan here. The game plan is to accumulate as much draft capital as possible to then go out and make trades. That's because first-round draft picks, specifically unprotected first-round draft picks, are currency in this league. They're valuable.
Absolutely.
People want them. So,
but you know what's interesting about that? I'm glad you said that. Thank you. This contract negotiation that they're doing now, one of the things that I was told last night by an NBA source is, watch how much the age limit changes.
Yeah.
Because if they change the age limit dramatically, how is that going to impact future first-round picks?
A lot.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. And I think that so often in the draft of like the last 5 years, think about guys like Ja Morant or like, let's even use Zion as an example. What would Zion Williamson be in his career right now if he never had to go to Duke? Right? If he could just go straight to the league, what would he have been? I think it's a very fair question. What would a lot of these guys have been if they didn't have to go to college? Because the fact is there's a ton of guys now with the development and how early it starts that maybe don't have an NBA body quite yet, but do have an NBA skill set before their college age. So to me, it's different now than when like Kobe and LeBron came into the league as 18-year-olds. If you think about it, right? Those guys came in and were just better athletes than you. The guys coming into the league now not only are better athletes and have a better body, but are more skilled than the average player. And that's why I'm saying Hall of Fame careers can be built by letting these guys get into the league earlier.
Football 50 coming up in about 6 minutes on the Monty Show, presented by the Advocates, Utah Injury Attorneys, UtahAdvocates.com. At the Advocates, they know you didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate when you have been in one. That's why you need to get to UtahAdvocates.com. And trust me when I say they're the best people in the world when you need help. When you've been in a car accident, and I know that it's one of the worst moments of your life, you need help with that. You need to defer your medical bills. You need a free consultation. You need to not pay upfront, no retainers at the Advocates. See, because when you work with the Advocates, the best injury attorneys in the business, there's no retainers. You don't pay the Advocates until they win your case. That's why you can trust them. They're going to work hard. They're going to advocate for you at the Utah Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. So I think this thing that with these draft picks, it's huge. I mean, I think it's going to change the landscape of things. You talk about the Lakers and you talk about this LeBron James situation. Think about it this way. If they change the one and done rule, which I don't think they will, but if they lower the minimum threshold from 19 years old to 18 years old, which, by the way, changing it to 19, you're 18 years old when you graduate high school and you go to college. Or maybe you go to Australia, or maybe you go to the G League. If they change the draft eligible age to 18, now you're going into the NBA. By the way, Bronny and Bryce James are coming up the pipeline. LeBron has said very clearly that he wants to play with his sons. And Bryce James may be the better prospect, by the way, than Bronny. How much does that accelerate the timeline for LeBron if his kids don't have to go to the G League or if his kids don't have to go to college? Like, that's huge. Bronny James right now is looking at Ohio State. If they get a CBA deal done within the next 6 months, maybe Bronny doesn't go to Ohio State. Maybe he goes to the NBA draft instead.
Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
But if you change the one and done rule or the draft eligible age, think about all the draft picks that the Jazz have. How much less valuable are those picks, or how much more valuable are those picks depending on the talent? That could be a wild swing. So one of the conundrums that we're trying to get clear on what does that rule change do to the value of all those first round picks that the Jazz have, because it's going to impact them dramatically. And I think that's why you're seeing such a value that those first round picks have now gone up in value so significantly, because those are chips now. Those are things that you can do to get, instead of Zion going to Duke. And by the way, I don't know if anybody saw the photos of Zion. His trainer is out doing all of these interviews now, talking about how for the last 6 weeks he's been in I think it's Boca in Florida.
Of course, this is inaccurate.
Working his ass off. He's in the greatest shape of his life.
Fat!
Now, he won't say, and Zion never says what he weighs, but he won't say what Zion weighs. But he says that Zion Williamson is finally in a place where his body composition means that he can be a successful NBA player. Well, how much more valuable would Zion have been if he didn't have to go to Duke? And the knee injury at Duke never happens. Think about that, because that's what we're talking about. But the other thing I think this does, and this is a business composition that we're talking about now, like, how is business, composed in the NBA? Well, you're getting WNBA, G League, China, like you're getting all this stuff filtering into the talent pipeline. Well, doesn't changing the age range from 19 to 18 in the minimum threshold, doesn't that devalue the G League?
On some level, yes.
I think it does.
Yeah.
And if you're the Australian League, who had, 3 of the best prospects in the draft 2 years ago, doesn't that devalue Australia now? Like, you just look at all of the impact that this one situation's going to have on the league, from all the picks the Jazz have to LeBron James's future to the G League to Eurobasket. Like,
well, and I think guys like David Fizdale all of a sudden become very important, because if you're bringing in these kids who need to learn the NBA game to be effective and frankly, need to build their body. Like, I think Fizdale and that training staff that's obviously their purpose in life within the Utah Jazz organization. So to me, I look back at all the projects that didn't ever really pan out for the Utah Jazz, the Dante Exums of the world, the Rodney Hoods of the world, like these guys that had some talent but just never really developed. And I look at 18-year-old Jared Butler, good example, right? Agbaji right now, like what are these guys going to be? Like, you got your Walker Kesslers, you've got a lot of these young guys that need to be developed. So I don't know, man. It's a very, very interesting time. But the LeBron angle, to me, basically solidifies that this is getting done sooner rather than later.
I think Jared Butler is going to be a huge topic of conversation in October.
Yeah.
He may be make or break.
Now or never.
He may be make or break. I just think it's going to be interesting. Let's see. V. Tuakavia. All right, VT, that's your name now. Reddick and on Old Man in the 3 podcast made a good point. We're past the days of buying chips. You can maybe trade for one big talent, but homegrown drafted talent will help teams' chemistry and salary cap. But I also think the risk and the reward proposition is out of line. Like, look at VW. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is arguably the most hyped prospect that we've had in a decade.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances he's a bust?
Do you even live?
High.
I mean, it's got to be huge.
Injury,
right?
From an injury standpoint, it's high.
Look at Zion. And I know we always say, oh, look on, we were right about this too. You can't be 300 pounds and playing above the rim and think you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
The hips, knees, ankle, feet thing is real. But you look at VW, you look at your boy Chet.
Chet boy.
Chet
already
Holmgren,
injured. Perfect example.
9 feet tall, and he weighs 36 pounds total. Like, how are you not going to break your foot?
As you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
I'm telling you, the risk-reward quotient is way out of whack in the NBA. And if you lower it back to 18, you don't even know who Robert Swift is. But, go look up Robert Swift's Sonics. Go do a Google search on that. That guy, who was a huge pick for the Sonics that wound up essentially buying a mansion and turning it into a crack house, that's what you're worried about when you go back to these, changing these age things. Like, it's just not, I'm just telling you, man. Let's come back to this in 10 minutes at 8 o'clock, because I think this is a really important conversation. I just think that you cannot continue to have the risk-reward quotient this far out of line. Football 50-10 of the hour, every hour. On the Monty Show, we cover the biggest stories in sports, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you use the promo code Monty25 for 25% off your purchase of $25 or more. If you were at Barbecue Pit Stop on Saturday, you understand the blessing. You understand the awesomeness, the gravitational pull that is Papa Murphy's Pizza. And you understand the, groinial machinations that take place when you eat Papa Murphy's Pizza, that you've custom built yourself to your taste buds that salivate wildly.
Here, let me help you. Okay, now go ahead. Continue. See, everything's better with this music. Groinial, what was that?
Groinial machinations.
Okay, groinial machinations. Okay, got it.
Download the Papa Murphy's app. Build your own pizza. That's what I do. I get a large pizza, barbecue sauce, no red sauce in the Monty compound. No, sir. It's barbecue sauce. Thank you very much.
Monty.
Thank you very much. It's barbecue sauce. It's a little cheese mix. Give me the onion mix. Give me the mushrooms. Give me the pineapple. Give me the green onions on top. Mozzarella cheese. Yeah, you're hungry. I know you are. Get to Papa Murphy's. Order your pizza right now. Pick it up at 4 o'clock on your way home from work. That's what you get. And enter the code Monty25 for 25% off your purchase. The biggest stories in the NFL. I want to play this video of Kyler Murray again, because this was, if you're just getting to the show this morning, I think this is one of the more controversial subjects in the NFL right now. Is this Kyler Murray slap? So Kyler Murray is celebrating with apparently some Cardinal fans.
Right.
He's at Allegiant Stadium, bro. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
Where Jesse Harsh is going to be.
To see BYU and Notre Dame. But Kyler is celebrating with Cardinal fans after their walk-off overtime win. Look at this video now. Here's Kyler with the fan. Now watch as they pan to his right shoulder. You're going to see a gentleman from the back row reach up and boom, smack him right on the bridge of the nose. Jake, is that assault and is it criminal?
Yeah, I struggle to say that this is assault and criminal. I mean, obviously Kyler Murray was upset about it, as you can see at the end of the video, and I think that, you know, it to me it's tough because you watch Kyler run up into the crowd here, you know, bro hugging and super excited. You got to remember, Kyler's run about 50, 55 yards here to get to this part of the field with these fans. And so then that happens, and he gets upset about it. You see him come back to the fan.
Look at him go at this fan.
Yeah, and so to me, it's really tough because you can see the rest of the fans around that one fan had no idea that it had happened.
But look at the faces of the fans. Just focus on the faces. Look at this guy right here with, you know, like celebrating with Kyler.
So
there's a hug.
Good.
Look at all the Raider fans, all the smiles. Then look at the guy right there. He's not smiling.
Yeah.
He's not. The guy who slaps Kyler in the face.
It looked like there was some intent, but
the white guy in the second row that comes forward, and you'll see, look at the guy's face. He's not smiling. He's like, there's rage on his face.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
No, I don't think you're wrong about it, and that's why I say it's really hard to prove intent because, I mean, he could easily say, well, I was just trying to high-five him, but I agree his face suggests that he is trying to do something.
He looks right here. Look at the guy in the second row. Look at that. Man, he just looks pissed.
Yes.
Like he looks aggressive.
Yes.
He looks angry.
Yes.
All these other fans have smiles on their faces. Look at that. All the Raider fans are smiling, and this guy's got rage on his face.
Yes. Yes.
This does not meet the minimum bar for criminality.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And this is kind of the issue that Russell Westbrook faced, like as far as verbal assault. Kyler's facing it with this, you know, face slap, if you will. I don't even think I'd call it a slap. The guy kind of just gave him a love tap, if you will. Like, it just was, I don't know, man. It doesn't meet the bar for assault, in my opinion, but it's also not a great look.
No, and again, this is why I say I don't understand why football players take off their helmet to go and celebrate. I don't get it. Because your face takes a beating in football when you take in any situation.
Yes.
Your face takes a beating.
Correct.
No matter what. I mean, it just does. One other story I'm going to get to here real quick is this Kalani Sitake injury video. I still think is one of the greatest videos. Now I'm going to bring down the vaunted chime music.
Yeah.
Because
don't take it down too long.
I want you to hear Kalani talking about injuries. Watch the last 5 seconds of this video.
Going off the guys that are out, I think Earl and Batty missed on defense. We're hopeful to get them back. I think, I don't know what the right wording would be, but probable would be the one. You know, and then feel good about possibly getting Gunner and Puka back too. So we'll see. I mean, I felt this way a couple weeks ago too, so I have no idea anymore.
I have no idea anymore.
Not a great feeling if you're a BYU fan.
I don't know, man. I can't watch that video enough of him just being a real dude who you can see is frustrated with his injuries. I think that's amazing.
Yes.
I think that's absolutely amazing. And how about Monday Night Football last night? Are the Buffalo Bills the best team in the NFL?
Yeah, right now I think they are. I mean, I told you and we told you they were going to shellac the Titans, and that's exactly what they did. And I just think it's that injury obviously was gnarly earlier in the game, and I think that game just had an interesting feel to it. So, yeah, I do think they're the best team in the league right now.
You do. And what do you make of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? I'm a huge Jalen Hurts advocate. The Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts. Did you see what I did?
See what he did there? Advocate and Advocates.
I'm a huge believer in Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I just don't think Philly loves him. I think that Philadelphia has very little love for Jalen Hurts, and I think his performance last night was stellar. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going all in on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, as I always say in the NFL, you either have a quarterback or you don't. You either have a guy that's your franchise guy or you don't. And I think Jalen is plenty good enough to be a franchise quarterback, and I would pay him as such.
Yeah, I agree. All right, couple of comments. Let's see. Team Money says, thank you for being honest. It was assault. If it was a black fan, I'm sure you wouldn't say it's assault. I don't think his race has anything to do with it.
I mean, I think, okay, so here's the thing.
Why is that the first thing we go to?
Because it's the NFL and it's football and it's a white guy hitting a black guy and it's a bad look and it's the NFL and they do nothing about issues. So that's where it always goes.
There were comments yesterday about how he was, and I'll play the video again when we talk about it. There were comments yesterday about the bro hug and this first fan right here, obviously he's black and Kyler's celebrating with him. They know each other. They know each other. That's why Kyler's down in that end zone. But look at the rage. Listen, this has nothing to do with race. That white guy wasn't like, oh, black quarterback, punch him in the face. Come on. I think most of the blame here is on Kyler for, when you're going to go celebrate with the fans, you got to have your helmet on. I don't think there's you're not Lambo leaping without your helmet.
Yeah, it's definitely dangerous.
I don't think in any way, shape, or form was this a racially motivated attack on Kyler Murray. I just don't. I don't think it meets assault. I really don't think it's criminal. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I don't know. Tariq says that slapping hand should have been broken off. Okay.
I mean, I agree that you can never... Anytime there's intent, the fans should be banned. I mean, that's just what it is.
VT says, Diggs and Hurts got me so many fantasy points last night. Love that. Football at 50, 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza, papamurphys.com. I'm telling you, the best way to get your Papa Murphy's on is to download the Papa Murphy's Pizza app. Hello. The Papa Murphy's app. Download it, and maybe you're going to get a triple pep.
No one goes all in on made-from-scratch freshness like Papa Murphy's. We go all in on quality, all in on craft. And on the Triple Pep Pizza, we go all in on pepperoni. Because when you go all in, people notice. Go all in with a limited-time Triple Pep Pizza, topped with 3 types of pepperoni for just $11.99. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
Absolutely right. PapaMurphys.com. Make sure you use the promo code Monty25 for 25% off your order of $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Monty in the morning, hour number 3. Coming up 1 hour from now, a huge Tom Brady update. There is a Tom Brady marriage update.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, man.
How about that?
I mean,
Gisele's Bundchen finally compromised? Is that what the update said, or
you got to say it a little slower? Gisele's Bundchen.
What I just said.
A little slower. Gisele's Bundchen, like
Jizzes.
Plurality, ownership, plurality, dual mentality. I don't know. Gisele's Bundchen and Tom Brady may have come to a settlement in their marriage stalemate.
Wish this was you.
And perhaps the Bundchen is back in the TB12. That's awkward if you reverse it. But anyway, what I had meant to say was welcome to the Monty Show, presented by the Utah Advocates, utahadvocates.com. An hour from now, we'll get into non-sports stories, including I want to talk about marriage today because we've had a lot of conversations about relationships and the effort that it takes to be a good boyfriend, husband, father. The effort that takes. I think Tom Brady is the perfect example of this because I'll save it. 9 o'clock, we're going to talk about Tom Brady and Gisele's Bundchen.
Okay.
Because I think it's a really important conversation for us as men specifically.
Uh-huh.
I think marriage and the challenges that come with being married or being a boyfriend and being a good boyfriend, I think they're very challenging, especially today. So we'll talk about that coming up at 9. No, we will not go to Jetcopter Monty over the Queen's funeral. We will not do that today. Even though I think it's hilarious that multiple people have commented on the Queen's funeral today. I think that's amazing. I think the biggest story in sports this morning, presented by the Advocates, utahadvocates.com, Utah's best injury attorneys without question. utahadvocates.com. They know that when you've been in a wreck or an accident, it's one of the worst days, one of the most difficult periods in your life. Don't worry about your medical bills. The Advocates can get those deferred for you. Don't worry about coming out of your pocket to pay some huge retainer. No, you don't have to do that. You don't pay the Advocates until they win your case. All you need to do is focus on your health and your life and getting back to the best version of you. That's why you go to Utah Advocates. utahadvocates.com. make sure you tell them Monty sent you. I think without question, the biggest story in Utah sports this morning is this Russell Westbrook rumor, and it has kind of set the world on fire again. Now, I don't know why this is something that's new, and I understand our friends at ESPN.
The four-letter.
Need something to talk about when it comes to the NBA because we are in slow season. Training camp's about a week to 10 days away for just about every team in the NBA, and the question is, should the Utah Jazz trade for Russell Westbrook? And are you willing to give up Jordan Clarkson as part of that deal? So NBA sources tell us that the Jazz and the Lakers have continued talking. The Jazz and the Lakers, frankly, have had ongoing discussions for several months now. As we told you, the Lakers were very interested in being the third team in a Donovan Mitchell trade with the Knicks. Now, that didn't happen. Obviously, Donnie wound up in Cleveland. But what has happened is a bridge has been built, a relationship has been formed. And this is regular occurrence in the NBA. You talk about one trade, but that conversation leads to another that eventually leads to fruit of your labor, which would be a trade here. The Jazz do, in fact, have interest in trading for Russell Westbrook. I am told that their interest is not to keep him on the roster. It would be as a buyout. And the Lakers have very much interest in Bojan Bogdanovic and Malik Beasley. The question is, are you going to include Jordan Clarkson in that deal, or are you going to use another contract to make that deal happen? Russell Westbrook is in line to make $47 million this year. If you trade Bojan and Beasley, that's not enough to make that trade equitable and make it work. If you add Jordan Clarkson into that deal, now you're cooking with gas. The big question is, what is Danny Ainge's asking price? What is he willing to take back from the Lakers with Russell Westbrook for a $47 million dead cap space in a buyout of Russell Westbrook this year? That's a big question. I think one of the things you have to get back, in my opinion, is at least 2 first-round picks that the Lakers own. I think pick swaps have to be a huge part of this. Danny Ainge is not foolish. He knows the landscape of the NBA is changing. I think Danny would very much like to upgrade the picks that he has now. Any of them that are not guaranteed, unprotected first-round picks, I think he'd love to upgrade those picks.
Yeah.
So pick swaps certainly could be part of this. But I also think one of the parts of this that is going to have to change is, again, you're going to have a third team to really get max value if you are the LA Lakers and the Utah Jazz. And on a surface level, I guess the basic question here, Jake, is should the Utah Jazz trade for Russell Westbrook?
I mean, I think it's a difficult question to answer because of Westbrook's performance last season. So should they trade for him? To have him on their team? No. I mean, should you trade for him to create cap space for next season? Absolutely. I think, we're getting some comments earlier in the show about people having some heartburn over paying $47 million.
I'm sorry. Did you say having heartburn?
I knew you'd appreciate that.
Did you say having heartburn?
I knew you'd appreciate that.
A Sean Crespin reference on the show.
Yes.
Having some heartburn.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, the real question is, for Russ in the Jazz is the pain of buying him out worth the opportunity that it will give you later down the line? And I think with where you are now, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, by not doing it, you're essentially just kind of going halfway. You're saying, okay, we're rebuilding, but somehow as a rebuilding team, we're not willing to buy out a contract to get more picks. And that, to me, is the logic that just kind of speaks to me. Like, yeah, you're already rebuilding. You already have a ton of picks. Like, you're already in the middle of this thing. Why wouldn't you just, eat some of that money, get a few more picks or even pick swaps, and free up cap space? That, to me, is the ultimate goal.
All right, let's get you guys in here. Make sure, if you're watching the show right now, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. We are trying to get to 10,000 subs by the end of the year. I think we're at 7,400 right now, so get your ass moving.
Yeah, let's go.
Tap that like button, and let's get your comments in here. We want to hear from you as Jazz fans, as Laker fans, as NBA fans. Here's a couple of questions for you. If you're the Jazz, do you buy out Russell Westbrook? Is that a deal you're willing to make? Because you're essentially saying, okay, we'll give you 3 veterans, you give us 2 first-round picks, and we'll buy out Russell Westbrook. Is that a deal you'd make? Let's talk about the Eastern Conference as well, and really the NBA. Kyrie Irving yesterday said something that I thought was fascinating. Kyrie Irving on a podcast said, quote, "I've been in the lab crazy since we got 4-0'd. Since they got swept by Boston."
If you felt these balls.
Apparently he took it personally. Kyrie and KD are back. Joe Harris is allegedly
a
hundo P.
Right.
Healthy. The ankle thing is over.
Think that's HIPAA?
Try to make me a case that they're not the best team in the East, because I don't think you can do it.
Well, here's the problem. I think they're unproven. I mean, this is what I'm just going to keep saying it. Like, it's great that you have talent. You have talent.
Let's go.
You have
Let's
talent.
go. Ramp it up, baby.
You have talent, but you did get 4-0'd, and you did get embarrassed, and Kevin Durant did do everything he could do, and because you were too busy, eating your ham sandwich in the locker room, they couldn't win a ball game. And
this team is wait. This team's not unproven.
Yes,
You've
they
got
are.
multiple championship players on this team, and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Now, I think last year was a very strange year for this roster.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you traded James Harden. You acquired Ben Simmons. That right there is probably where you went off the rails. Ben Simmons is a very good player.
Unproven.
He's not unproven. I think he's one of the best defensive players, if not the best defensive player in the league. Is he unproven as an offensive guy? Sure. I think we know what he is, but they don't need him to score. I think you don't know what he is as a basketball
player right now. Like, how are we going to sit here and say we know what this guy is? I know what he is before the I won't dunk it in the playoff moment and before it got burned down in Philly.
Wow, look at you.
True. It's true, man. Like, are we seriously going to skip over that and say that that's not a problem? Like,
I am, because you don't go to Las Vegas and you don't do the media tour that Ben Simmons did at Summer League and pronounce yourself happy and healthy and ready to rock and roll if you're not happy and healthy and ready to rock and roll.
Y'all feel me?
Because if he comes back and he's like, no, I can't do it. I've got this issue and that issue.
You weren't expecting this one.
By the way, Ben Simmons, his situation is said to be part of the CBA, that there's now going to be mental health compensation for teams and players in the next CBA. But you don't go out there and say, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to contribute. If you're not, because you've already been embarrassed. You've already been humiliated.
Yeah.
There's only one way for Ben Simmons to go here, and that's up. Because he can't go any lower. The only way to go lower is out of the NBA.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. And this is why I say, let's get your comments in here on the Brooklyn Nets as well. When I see Kyrie Irving saying that kind of thing, because that's not accidental.
Right.
When you say we got 4-0'd, that tells me that hurts you, again, to use your favorite term, in your groinal region. You took that personally.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you took that, you got kicked in the bag hard.
Sorry if you're offended by that.
You asked to be traded, and they said, nah, bro, we're not doing that. Kevin Durant asked to be traded. They said, nah, bro, we're not doing that. All of you are back. You can't tell me, by the way, all of you are on prove-it deals.
Pause.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Chaboy, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris.
Donnie, you're out of your element.
His mom, like, they're all on prove-it deals. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to be nasty. I think they are absolutely going to be a problem.
So you have no frame of reference.
I do have a frame of reference. You can keep saying they're unproven. I absolutely have a frame of reference.
The fact is Ben Simmons hasn't played a game for them yet.
Okay.
Hasn't played a game for him yet. And I need to see what guy can do. I mean, if he's the same guy, then yeah, they're going to be good.
On paper, are they the best team in the NBA?
Yes, on paper, they're the best team in the NBA. I'm tired of hearing about paper, though. I'm tired of hearing about the Lakers. I'm tired of hearing about Philly. Paper. I'm tired of hearing about that, man. Like, I want these guys to be healthy. With all due respect, I'm tired of hearing about Ramadan. I'm tired of hearing about blessing the stadium. Put the ball in the hole and win championships, and then you can go and do whatever the hell you want.
Hullabilly says Kyrie's talking about the science lab.
Jesus.
What is he like? Are you kidding me? Brent Burnett says Lakers have one spot and the Jazz just cut 2 or trade. So like Westbrook and none for Boyan, JC, and Beasley. They're not trading none. I don't think. I think the Jazz Lakers trade is pretty straight up. I think when you look at the roster and you look at the flexibility that they have, I think you're going to see that the Lakers have no loyalty here. And why would you? If you are able to trade Westbrook, 2 first-round picks, and you get Boyan and Beasley back in return,
How about that?
and you balance salaries, and because again, I'm not convinced they want to trade Clarkson, but whatever. If you take Mike Conley back in that deal, who I'm still shocked is on the roster. If you take Rudy Gay back in that deal, who I'm still shocked is on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can make this deal work fairly easily.
Yeah.
The question is, what is Danny asking for? And how many pick swaps are going to be involved? And do you need a third team? Because I
think that it's unequivocally yes, you need a third team.
I would agree. T-Money, what's up? He says, I agree. We have no idea what Ben Simmons is. Okay.
Thank you, T.
Thank you, T. Come on. No? Okay.
No, it's not available.
Teddy
today.
Wayman says, I think it's still Boston. They got Malcolm Brogdon for basically nothing. Well, that's very true. I would agree that Boston's better. Boston is better. I feel like there's something missing in Boston. I have not gotten over Jason Tatum's choking. And I think he choked. I'm really disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching some YouTube highlights of that series last night.
Makes me want to puke.
I'm really disappointed in that team. Like, I'm trying to find a reason to put Boston at the top of the East, and I can't do it.
Which tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, like, I can't do it because I see what Jaylen Brown's been doing this winter, or this summer, rather. I see what Jaylen Brown's been doing.
Yeah.
Like, the guy is just killing himself. He's working hard. He's adding to his game. He's trying to become a more consistent three-point shooter.
There is no question.
Yeah, he's trying. He really, you can see there's a lot of tape of him on that with that wing mid-range game that has clearly been a hole in his game. Like, I see what Jaylen's doing. What is Jason Tatum doing? And can you count on Tatum? And I don't know that you can. And the other guy that I'm interested in now is, because an NBA guy told me the other day that the value of Marcus Smart is low. And I was like, how is it low?
Yeah.
Because he didn't make good decisions in key moments in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And so I'm looking at this team, and I'm like, Brogdon, Teddy, I think you're exactly right about Brogdon. I think that was a great pickup for them. But there's still that superstar it factor, and I'm not ready to pronounce Jason Tatum a superstar.
We're really focused on Philadelphia right now.
And it's cool that you're doing this stuff it's cool you're doing this stuff in the regular season.
Right.
And I think there's value in that.
Yeah.
It's not cool that you didn't do this in the finals. And I say the same thing about my guy Book. You did not perform in the finals at the level you needed to.
Too bad.
So
it's true.
Devin Booker's making $50 million.
Yeah.
What's Boston missing? What am I missing on Boston?
I mean, I just think that Boston it's Jason Tatum, man. Tatum has to get better. I think Tatum is a damn good basketball player. I think the guy is shown that he can hit big shots, but it's him and Book are the same guy in my opinion. Obviously, Tatum's a little bit bigger than Book is, but I think overall they're essentially the same guy. They're the best scorer on their team. 9 nights out of 10, they're probably giving you 30 points a night. If we're being honest about it, 25, 30 a night. And the problem is I just think that the intensity of postseason basketball changes you. It is just a different feel. And I think that, guys like Book and Jason Tatum embrace it and they want it, but ultimately you got to go out and do it. Like, that's why that's the same logic I use with the Brooklyn conversation or the Lakers or any of these guys.
Okay, so Eric in Raleigh says Minnesota is going to win the East, right, Jake?
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Day.
That's correct.
Day. We get
the fucking vernal equalizer.
Yeah, hey, man, they're in the East, right, Jake?
Yep.
God, I love it. T says Simmons fell under the Kardashian curse. Love that. Is the Kardashian curse real?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Are the Kardashians hot?
Your boy needs to let her go.
I don't want to hear that. You think so?
Yes.
Okay. Brent Burnett says Simmons nuts, but he will play again. Just faking until his next contract. Oh, stop! Come on now.
Savage.
Rant says Boston is legit. Now have Brogdon too. You guys are probably right. I'm probably wrong. I mean, I feel like there's something missing there. I've seen a lot of good basketball teams in my life. Like, it feels like there's a chemistry something, and I need Jason Tatum to do it. I need Devin Booker to do it. You know who I need to do it? I need Kawhi Leonard to do it. I think Kawhi Leonard's another prove it guy.
I don't know about that. Kawhi Leonard's got championships. That's the difference. Kawhi Leonard has won championships in multiple organizations,
but he missed the entire year last year.
I mean, there's no doubt he hasn't played a lot, but the difference is he's won twice.
Yeah. Look at that. Hola Billy says a healthy Clippers team looks great on paper. Well,
it does.
And by the way, Kawhi Leonard hit arguably the best game series clinching shot ever.
Yeah, you know,
with the 71 bounces off the rim.
I mean, you know, you want to talk about a prove-it guy. John Wall's a prove-it guy. John Wall has to show that he's still capable. Like, I don't think that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forgot how good he is.
Yeah, like Kawhi Leonard's one of the best mid-range players this generation's seen. That's how good Kawhi Leonard is, and he's also one of the best two-way players this generation's ever seen. So to me, I think Kawhi is fine. Paul George still has a lot to prove, right? Like, he hasn't won a championship yet. So as far as I'm concerned, Paul George, while he's better in my opinion than Tatum and Book, just as a pure scorer, he's still in that bucket. He's still got stuff to prove.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think what's really interesting is that you have so many teams that have so many questions.
Yes.
I think that the market has changed so much, as has the real estate market, which is why you need a good mortgage broker, and that's why you call Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage. See what he did there?
See what he did there?
A lot of people ask me about Devery Davis. I was talking to two people yesterday about, hey, is it true that I can really get a mortgage? Two guys, three guys at Barbecue Pit Stop the other day. Hey, do you really think like this? And I won't, obviously I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, hey man, you know, I got this much in the bank and my credit, like his credit score was like a 671, he said. He's like, I got this much in the bank. Do you think I can qualify? I'm like, yeah, I would think you can. Why don't you call Devery? And like, I gave him Devery's contact. Like, I'm telling you that if you're wondering, can I? The answer is you need to call Devery Davis.
Yes.
Man, can I afford a down payment? Call Devery Davis. Can I afford that house? Call Devery Davis. Hey, man, is black coffee bad for me in the morning? Call Devery Davis. Like, and I wouldn't ask him about coffee. But anyway, my point is.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
If you're thinking about buying a house and you're wondering, hey, and you're saying to yourself, you know, I can't afford a down payment. Call Devery Davis. 801-543-9666, NMLS number 278545. Devery Davis and the Davis lending team at Academy Mortgage, they've done 3 mortgages for me. I don't hype people on this show that I haven't done business with, and I'm telling you, Devery Davis is that dude. He is legit. I would tell you every single day, if you're thinking about buying a house, there's only one guy to call. And if you're asking yourself, hey, is there a down payment program for me? The answer is, yeah, there is.
You're listening to The Monty Show, my favorite peeps. I'm Devery Davis with the Davis Lending Team, powered by Academy Mortgage. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, you don't know what you're doing, you bought multiple homes, second homes, investment properties, multifamily, we've got you covered. Our office consists of everybody it takes to do your loan, from processing to underwriting to doc departments. We do it all right here. We're not waiting on Tucumcari or Walla Walla, Washington to answer an email. We take care of it here. The housing market's changed. Prices are dropping. It's the greatest time to buy a house. There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you have any questions, you give me a shout. I'll walk you through it. Have a great day. Tell my money guys I said what's up.
What's up? Devery Davis at Academy Mortgage, the Davis lending team. Our equal housing lenders. Tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. We're talking NBA hoops. By the way, real quick. Can we talk shoes just for a minute?
Right.
On the show, because I think you know that we're big shoe guys.
Right.
Tomorrow, the LeBron 9 Low Liverpool FC shoe comes out, and you just dogged on that.
And this is in the sneakers app.
Yes, this is in the sneakers app.
You know, here's my problem.
It's a beautiful shoe.
So it is a good-looking shoe. Google it real quick or whatever on your phone. Like, you know, take a look at this shoe, but my problem with LeBron's is they're very bulky. It's a big shoe. Now, I love the LeBron 10, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I'm including Jordans in this. The LeBron 10 was one of the best shoes Nike's ever made, from both a playing in it basketball perspective and a lifestyling shoe. I just don't think that that's in dispute. The 9 is very much in the same ilk as the 10. It's a very similar shoe. So, like, to me, you know, first of all, the first problem is this is a Liverpool shoe. So the fact that you're even considering this is offensive, number one. Number two, the colorway is just okay. This to me screams Miami, not Liverpool. I don't know what I didn't know that Liverpool wears turquoise now. Like, Liverpool is a red club. That's what they are. They're the Reds. So to me, I don't know, man. This shoe to me is not, and I don't know, man. I'm just not.
I don't typically love LeBron shoes as casuals.
Yeah.
I love them to play in. And I play in LeBrons all the time. And this is a good looking shoe that I could see wearing casually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. We'll disagree. By the way, in the comments, are you a Nike guy and Adidas guy? Where are you at with this?
You're the same guy that won't buy Paris Saint-Germain product from Nike because it's Paris Saint-Germain. So how you going to buy a Liverpool shoe?
Maybe not.
Whatever.
I don't know. Scott Howard says, is Devery licensed in Arizona? Call Devery Davis. His partner is licensed in Arizona. Devery wrote a mortgage for us in Arizona. So absolutely, Devery can hook you up in Arizona. No doubt about that. Brent Burnett says, Bogey has many suitors. Yes, he does. Boyan Bogdanovic, I think his two best suitors are probably Philadelphia and Los Angeles, the Lakers. But I've heard him time and again linked to Miami.
Yes.
Miami would love to have him as a corner shooter. There's not a contender that doesn't want Boyan Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
I think the only place he doesn't fit is probably Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I know that the Knicks really liked Boyan in Donovan trades. I know the Bulls really liked Boyan in the Rudy Gobert thing. Yeah, he's got suitors across the NBA. If I had to bet, I would say Philadelphia or the LA Lakers is where he will end up. Let's see. Mike Phillips says Saucony or New Balance, but I buy running shoes. Now, this is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Mrs. Monty is a cardio fiend.
Right.
And I actually do not own a pair of running shoes. And she has been...
traditional running shoes. You have like Air Maxes. You have...
Yeah. I don't have...
run in, but
I've been looking at like this Hoka or whatever, Hoka shoe.
Everyone's wearing them now because they got big time cushion them and they're really comfortable.
Well, and when you're fat, like I'm fat, you need like some comfort. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Mrs. Monty, come and get it.
Yeah, come get it.
Come and get it. Jake
Sorry,
dropped the ball today.
There was a lot happening this morning. We had a
Mrs.
new
Monty
setup over here.
In her exclusive.
Come get it. Don't play victim.
In her exclusive Lululemon Maui.
Douche Mountain.
Look at her walking in here.
Walking in. Okay.
Look at her.
Okay,
Yeah,
we got it. Nice shirt.
She's got the exclusive Maui
Okay.
Lululemon shirt on and the leggings with the Maui Islands on the leg.
Okay.
That's why we have to work so hard so Mrs. Monty can shop at Lululemon.
Right.
F out of here.
Okay.
Anyway, Mrs. Monty, yes. What would you like to say? Yes.
I would go with New Balance. If you're between Saucony and New Balance, I would go with New Balance.
New Balance for sure. Saucony's a better cash wear shoe. I like the
New Balance
way
has
they
some
look.
fire casual shoes.
Oh, they do. One of my favorite shoes is a shoe you bought me for Christmas.
Yes,
one year.
I don't know the models though.
No, it's a New Balance casual. But
Saucony tends to be a lower cushion.
Yeah.
Some people who run like long distance love them. But I would go with New Balance. The Hokas are really, really popular. They are very cushioned.
Yep.
So
I agree. Mike Phillips says New Balance Fresh Foam More V4 is your running shoe, Monty.
yeah.
Loads of cushion.
Fresh
Absolutely.
foam.
Absolutely. Let's see. Wow, look at everybody getting in on this. Justin Salas says, as a runner, Saucony is my go-to shoe. Have about 3 different styles. I like it. Eric and Raleigh says New Balance is the shoe. Casual shoe is the Skechers slip-ons. Eric?
You do have this
Eric.
knack.
Yeah.
But just annoying the living
Okay,
out.
Dad.
That's Skechers
Okay,
slip-ons.
Dad.
Are you kidding me?
Are you Grandpa?
Tariq says New Balance, thumbs up. MH5 says, be careful wearing pineapple clothing. Learn that a code in the swingers community.
What?
Wow. Okay. Okay. T, what's up, T? Says, I'm glad the straw that stirs the drink, Mrs. Monty, is in the house. Good morning.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks, T. That does not help. Justin Salas says, the Saucony Endorphin Speed is probably the best shoe I have ever run in.
Okay.
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 I think the one of the original Nike Pegasus is still the best running shoe I've ever had. But I don't run ever unless I'm playing basketball.
Uh-huh.
I need a good treadmill shoe, and Hoka is one of the top-rated treadmill shoes, but I need to get a pure running shoe for cardio. I do. I'm going to start. I was watching some vids online last night because, that's what I do as a married single man. I was watching some videos online. And you know what they say is some of the best cardio you can do? That stupid wind bike at the gym with the big propeller on it that you do the whole, that stupid thing.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I won't. But I need to get back into my... Yes, go ahead.
But sorry. There's a collision of people.
Okay.
Anyways, I highly recommend if you're looking for a running shoe, get something that's a little bit wider in the toe box. There's some brands, and New Balance offers wide in their running shoe. Your feet will be happier. They will. Try it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm talking to the Wayman brothers about an important project.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, I'm telling Wayman Brothers Construction, man. I'm telling you.
Call 'em, bro.
Those are the dude. I'll tell you more about them in a minute. Riley O'Brien, what's up? He says, brand black is fire for both casual and running shoes. So I have to look at that. Jeff Johnson says, if you don't wear Crocs on a daily, you're a casual. Guy? Jeff? With a G? What do you mean?
3/4 of this is inaccurate. What's funny about that? Back when I was doing triathlons, my sister and I, we used to wear Crocs because they are fabulously comfortable and great for when you're having to get in and out of a pool, when you're working out. Super. Everyone picked on us. Everyone picked on us.
Adidas
that we should
Cloud
be
Foams.
in, some sort of an institution,
Where are we
being
at
a
in
window
society
licker.
today?
Like there was all kinds of things that was said about our Crocs, and they are super comfortable. Oh, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh my God, they're super comfortable."
All I would say
Let's all wear them.
All I would say is, I agree with the people that say the holes in the Crocs is where your soul leaks out. All of your testosterone flows out of those little holes in the Croc. I don't mind Crocs. They are actually comfortable. I'm an Adidas Cloud Foam guy. They're so comfortable. It's amazing. Eric says, Skechers slip-ons memory foam. It's like walking on a cloud. I'll take your advice. Jeremy Sevre says, what is your opinion of Ultra?
Oh, see, I like Ultras, but you have to get the right ones. I love Ultra hiking shoes are the best. Number one, can't beat Ultra hiking shoes. But for running, you have to really find the right one for you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that is really important is that you have to find the shoe that works for your foot. And the only way to do that, sadly, is to probably waste a lot of money. But for me, I've always been, when it comes to running shoe, I agree with Mrs. Monty. I've always been a New Balance guy. If I'm putting on a shoe to go running, when we used to run all the time in Sacramento, I used to wear a New Balance. But I'm a Nike guy through and through when it comes to casuals, basketball, working out, fitness. I'm a Nike guy. It fits my foot. They have a wider toe box in the Air Max that I really like. I wear an Air Max. What is that? 2017. The Air Max 2017 is one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever owned.
Yeah.
But if I was going to run, I wouldn't run in an Air Max. They knock you off center. So that's why I'm looking for that shoe. But you have to find a shoe that works for your foot. This is amazing that we're actually having a shoe conversation.
If you're interested in Ultra and you live in Utah, they do have an outlet store at the Thanksgiving Point outlets.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And
we were just there a couple weeks ago.
Highly recommend. They're very intelligent people. They will talk to you about the shoes and the differences in the shoes and what's right for your foot.
But Justin Solis makes the best point. He says, Monty, if you need some cushion for the pushing, go with Hoka.
What
the fuck are you talking about?
I don't wear. Do you wear shoes while you're pushing the cushion?
Maybe you need more grip.
Case.
Damn.
Case says Hoka more cushioning the better and wide is the best. T Money says rocking the Ewings too. Oh, T Money.
Are you feeling okay?
Oh man, the Ewings, the Starburys. Stephen Marbury gave me a pair of Starburys way back in the day, and I didn't take it seriously. I no longer have them, and I'm a terrible person because of it.
So you better check yourself.
Starbury's a good dude, by the way. He gets a bad rap. Jeff Johnson says, live for comfort or die young. That's what I'm saying. Love that, man. All right, 8:30 on the Monty Show, the biggest stories in sports this morning. Very clearly this trade with the Jazz and this Russell Westbrook trade. But also, I really want your comments. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you're watching the show right now, all 134 of you. We appreciate that. Who's the best team in the NBA right now on paper? And I know here we are on what's today, September 20th. We're 10 days away from all training camps being open in the NBA. I'm sticking and staying that it is either the Brooklyn Nets, I think, are the best team in the East. I don't know how you go away from Golden State in the West, but I think the West is so wide open. I have no idea what to make of the Clippers. I don't know. That's a big question for me.
Yeah, I think both conferences are really deep. I think the East is much deeper this year than it had been in prior years, and I think that the West is the West. I mean, the West has been deep for a decade.
The West is the West, really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Ooh, good thing you told me that.
Yeah.
I would agree. The West is very West right now. I mean, they are deep. I mean, you look, Denver's a very interesting team in the West.
Yeah, I mean, there's teams in the West that are sort of making this comeback. Like Denver is a perfect example, one of those teams that's sustained major injury, and Jokic was on the MVP tour, and like you just were in a different place as a team. And I think that when you start to look at teams like the Nuggets, or even if you look at the Rockets as an example, the Rockets aren't anything to write home about, but they're getting better, and they can be that team that at the end of the year, when you need to win a game to get into the play-in tournament, they can beat you and end your season. And so that's why I think, for me, the West is still the better conference. But I think the storylines in the East are hard to beat. When you look at the Nets situation, you look at Harden in Philly. Frankly, you look at Giannis in Milwaukee. This is a prove-it year again for Giannis. I think, obviously, Giannis has won, and he's shown us what he can do. But also, I think people have this expectation that he's going to win like 5, 6, 7 rings. So if that's to happen, he's got to get back to the finals again.
Yep, I agree. T-Money says Boston and the Warriors. Cleveland is the 21 Bengals.
I would love to see that happen. I have to be honest with you.
You would?
I would love to see them come out of the East. I
Why?
would love that. Well, because if they make it to the NBA Finals, that means Donovan Mitchell has taken that step that we've been talking about.
Donnie, please.
Yeah, it's Donnie. So that would mean that Donnie has taken that step that we've been talking about for so long. That would mean that Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell were able to figure out their relationship and maximize that and really, mutually benefit from it. And then I also think that means that Mobley and Jared Allen are having some of the best years of their career. So to me, if they're able to get to the NBA Finals, I just think it's a great story, man.
Interesting. T-Money, who's one of our better basketball guys, I enjoy talking hoops with you, T, says the Nuggets are in decline.
Well, I think there's no way to dispute that from the standpoint of Jamal Murray sustained a major knee injury. I mean, there's just no way to.
And I don't necessarily worry about the knee injuries anymore, because I think the technology is so good. The guy I'm more worried about there is MPJ. I just think you're paying him so much money, and when you have a lower back injury the way he did, he worries me far more. But I look at Jokic. I just look at the build of that roster, and it feels like. And I know they weren't able to trade Aaron Gordon, but I still think he has good years in front of him. I think the build of that roster, especially if you get Jamal Murray back and you traded the guards and you add Cantavius, it just feels like they're in a really good place.
Yeah, and look, they can be obviously a playoff team, and if all things break right, they could come out of the West. But I just look at like some of the superstar players, like your LeBrons, your Davises, your Currys. Those guys aren't superstars because they have bad years year after year after year. And so my thing is I think I hope, and it's hard for me to really say this because I have some reservations about it, but I really feel like this could be one of those special years out of LeBron where he's just outright the best player in the league and nobody doubts that. And if that happens, I wonder where the Lakers fall, because is Anthony Davis healthy? Do they actually trade Westbrook? Like, there's so much happening there.
I'm so tired of talking about Anthony Davis not being healthy.
Yeah, everybody is.
I'm over it. And again, very much like Ben Simmons. Very much like Ben Simmons. He's put out a lot of tape and a lot of people talking for him about what great shape Anthony Davis is in.
That's enough of that crap.
It's time for you to do it.
Yeah.
It really is. Denver's got Bruce Brown, Ish Smith, Jeff Green. Like, their bench has actually got some depth to it.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see. I mean, DeAndre Jordan doesn't have much left in the tank, but you look at their top five: Jokic, Murray, Porter, Gordon, Cantavius. I mean, those guys can play.
Yeah.
They're going to probably have to add some depth there. I mean, I don't know. What do you make of the Phoenix Suns? Because, and if you don't know, I'm a huge Devin Booker fan.
Uh-huh.
We covered the Suns for several years in Phoenix. Like, that's a good locker room. That's a good group of dudes. They've got to trade Jay Crowder. Another team, by the way, that I would watch for Bogdanovich is Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think they would love to add Bogey. But I don't know how good they are now. Like, looking at the money there, Robert Sarver aside, by the way, looking at the money there, I mean, their cap is just so bizarre. I mean, DeAndre Ayton, that whole situation is still awkward to me. Chris Paul's still making $29 million. But you have a core of Booker, Ayton, Paul, Bridges. I mean, they're trying to extend Cam Johnson. Like, I don't. Is that still an elite team? I don't know that they're an elite team anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can say that they're a favorite to escape the West and get to the finals. I think that they're a top 5 team in the West. I think the problem is that Chris Paul, and really this is, and I don't mean to upset you, but Book has to perform, and I know you've been saying that, and I think it's time for Devin Booker to either, get it going or stop trying to be a superstar. Like, you have to perform in the playoffs. You can't have 15 points in a playoff game. That's just not where the Suns are going to thrive. And I think this conversation around Chris Paul saving you against New Orleans is kind of ridiculous. Like, Chris Paul had to go, I think it was like 15 of 15 in the first half just for them to be, up 5 points. Like that's, so that's why I say I think these last couple of playoff runs for Book just haven't been great.
Yeah, I'd love to believe his upside is, elite. He just hasn't shown it in big moments.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any way to escape that. Scott Howard says, I live in Phoenix, and the feeling I get from my friend here is that they draw parallels to the Jazz. Did they peak, and are they on the decline? I think they did, and I think they are. And that's hard for me to say that, man. I'm not a Suns fan, but like if you don't enjoy watching Cam Johnson, Devin Booker,
they're a fun
like
club to watch play basketball, but that's not what we're talking about.
They should have made the Ayton trade, and they should. Man, I think that's where ultimately they will fall apart. T Money says, I agree. I don't know about the Suns, Monty. Lots of issues to contend with, and I think this thing with Robert Sarver now becomes a black cloud hanging over the club.
Well, and I think your frustrations with guys like Devin Booker or LeBron not really doing anything about it will continue to build as long as the Sarver case is going and he's still in position of power. And I think that Book, there's been a lot of rumors about Book wanting to, well, not even rumors. I mean, he's probably said it a time or two in his career that, obviously he wants to put a Laker uniform on and follow in Kobe's footsteps and everything. So I don't know. This just seems like a good opportunity to move on from the situation, but obviously he's not doing that.
Look at my guy, Brent Burnett. First he says the Warriors' key is green. Then he says, I speak truth to power. It'll be injuries taking down the Warriors.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Okay, first of all, I speak truth to power is an amazing line there. Second of all, I don't disagree with you. I mean, you can't play as much basketball as Golden State Warriors have played and not have Klay Thompson injuries, not have, Dre's missed a lot of time. Curry has been one of their more reliable guys night in and night out.
Yep.
I don't know. They're awfully young. I mean, Wiggs has played a lot of basketball now, and he's been, knock on wood, he's been pretty durable. But you look at that, they, in my opinion, and this is one of those odd situations with Golden State. I think you have to make decisions now on Kuminga and Wiseman. I mean, you can't. At some point, you're going to have to move on from some of those guys.
Yeah.
And are you going to trade Kuminga and Wiseman? I would not trade Kuminga. I think the guy is an absolute stud.
Is that a real question?
What we've seen in the pro-ams and what we've seen his work this summer, he's a stud. You've got to trade James Wiseman, and I think you have to make a decision on Draymond.
Yeah.
I mean, Draymond's been the straw for a long time on that team. That's not going to be an easy transition. I think that's very difficult. Eric and Raleigh says Chris Paul is not a winning player.
Agreed.
Could be. Team Money says Julius Randle to the Suns. I know the Suns would love to make that trade. The question is, what are you going to have to give up to get him? What are the Suns willing to give up to get him? And what are... I mean, Leon Rose has shown to be a very good operator.
Not interested in Julius Randle, man. Just not.
See, I think in the right place, Julius has value. I think New York is not the right place. I think Julius Randle has shown that he is a professional, that he is in shape, and he's got ability.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt he's a professional.
He's just not a number one.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, so let's say that the Suns pursue Julius Randle with the Knicks. All right. So, obviously, DeAndre Ayton's going to come up in that conversation. Obviously, some of your other, 4, 5 kind of hybrid guys would come up in that conversation. And to me, it's like, all right, cool. If you do a DeAndre Ayton deal for Julius Randle, does Julius make you that much better? Because I got news for the DeAndre Ayton haters. While the guy's not a great defender, he gives you 20 and 10 like literally every night. So
you can't tell me that Julius Randle isn't an upgrade to Jay Crowder.
Well, he's an upgrade to Jay Crowder, but I don't think
that's what we're talking about.
No,
I absolutely think that's what we're...
You're not trading Julius Randle just for Jay Crowder.
I don't think... I don't know what Ayton's trade restriction is off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But when I look at that, when I look at what the Suns have that the Knicks want, Mikal Bridges is not a guy that you're going to trade away.
Yeah.
If you're trading for Julius Randle, are you giving up Mikal Bridges? You're not.
Hell no.
Right? No, you're not. I think if you're adding Julius Randle to that team, it's going to be very difficult to make that deal.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think the Suns have a whole lot to give up, and they're not. They've shown an unwillingness to trade Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah.
But they need to trade Jay Crowder. They do. And I think Julius Randle gives them that shot in the arm that they need. And I've seen all those rumors.
Lidocaine and B12.
Yeah, frankly, I have not talked to anybody about that, but I know that the Suns value a power forward that's got range. And who the hell is that? That's Julius Randle.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Know, man. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Diesel D says Warriors days are numbered. Okay. Warriors days could be numbered. They could be. Hey, I got to tell you, I'm sitting here on my phone talking to my guys at Wayman Brothers Construction. And it's a fabulous experience. I've been so impressed for so many years that we've dealt with Wayman Brothers. And, you know, if you're looking for a contractor in the state of Utah, please call Wayman Brothers because they're flipping amazing. 801-654-1028. You know, like they're working on a project for us, and they're like texting back and forth with me on product. They're texting back and forth with me on timelines and execution and communicating about, hey, well, you know, we want to make sure that this guy's in place so that this guy can do his job when this guy gets there. Seriously, like all this coordination. How many contractors do you never hear from and they just show up and you don't know they're showing up, and then they don't show up when you think they're showing up?
Yeah.
I've never had that problem with Wayman Brothers. Like, they poured a huge concrete pad for my hot tub in our backyard. I knew exactly when the cement guys were going to be there. I knew exactly when the finishers, when the concrete truck, when
and
the
they
pump.
left your backyard clean.
This experience with Wayman Brothers Construction has been one of the best I've ever had with a contractor.
And we've remodeled houses. We've been in the real estate industry. Like, we've dealt with a lot of contractors. And trust me when I say, the Wayman Brothers answer the phone. They're on time. They leave their workspace clean. Like, it's just what you want.
Their finished product is elite.
With the Wayman Brothers, you don't get the, hey, we're too busy, so we couldn't show up today excuse. If they're not going to show up, which I haven't experienced yet, by the way.
Never.
But I would assume if they're not going to show up, they'd probably let you know. And that's why they're a good contractor, because the communication's there.
But they tell you, hey, I'll be there at 10:30.
Yeah.
And they're there at 10:29.
Yeah.
They're not there at 10:45. They're on time every time. Their finished product is elite. Their pricing's elite. Their bid process is really easy. Their communication's easy. The girl that works in the office, Autumn, there knows that we're doing a show, so she's not calling me. She's texting me because she knows I can't answer the phone. Like, it's just a great experience. Kitchens, bathrooms, finished basements, ADUs, garages, you name it. Wayman Brothers has got you covered. Call them today, 801-654-1028. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Great NBA conversation, frankly.
Yeah.
It is really good. And I know I feel like we've become a football show.
Well, we have. It's football season.
But we're known as an NBA show now we're known, like, we talk about all sports, but man, it is so fun to be talking about really high-level basketball. And this is what's great about the people who watch this show. You guys know the NBA. You guys know college football. You know the NFL. We have these great conversations every day. That's why we love having you guys involved in the show.
Okay, Tariq, bro, you need to chill out in the comments section, bro. Dude saying that Mikal Bridges is Miles Bridges is playing in jail. That's bro, dude.
Whoa,
damn,
whoa,
dude.
Whoa.
She took offense.
Yeah, that's not good.
Damn.
Talk about a guy that gave away money. Scott Howard says the Suns love Bridges. They won't give him up. No, they won't. Kay Nuren says Green is done. Age has caught up to him. I don't know. He played pretty well during the playoffs for them. He played some real heavy minutes. Kenai Johnson says Paul will go down as one of the best point guards without a ring, like Stockton. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ouch. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. T-Money. Cam Johnson or Miles Bridges and Jay Crowder to the Knicks. Okay, if you're getting Julius Randle, are you giving up Cam Johnson? I mean, he is a knockdown three-point shooter.
Yeah, I struggle with that, bro.
I'm not giving up Mikal Bridges.
So I'm saying I'm not doing that. To me, you're already a championship caliber team. Devin Booker's got to play better. Chris Paul's got to play better. DeAndre Ayton's got to learn to catch a basketball, bro. Damn.
Mikal Bridges is making 21 mil.
That's not a lot for him,
No,
bro.
not at all. What is, you look at some of these numbers. Like I look at the Knicks cap, and I actually think Leon's done a really good job there. Jalen's at 27. Julius is at 23.7. So you're probably, one of the interesting questions is, would Leon Rose trade a Mitchell Robinson? Would Leon Rose
no?
If you were getting, and again, I'm speaking off the top of my head, I don't know the trade restrictions on Ayton, but I mean, you would have to at least.
I don't think
that.
you're not trading Mitchell Robinson, dude. I just can't see it.
But again, as we told you and everybody laughed at us, it turned out to be true. Danny Ainge wanted Mitchell Robinson, and it didn't happen. And I look, I wouldn't have traded him if I'm the Knicks. I actually am a huge Mitchell Robinson guy.
Yeah.
He's a perfect fit for the Suns.
Yeah.
Like Mitchell Robinson is exactly what that team needs.
Yeah.
Exactly. They need, the problem with Ayton is he is a wonderful, wonderful offensive talent.
Yeah.
He's just not mentally tough.
He's soft, bro.
On any level. I don't know.
Mitchell Robinson has had wars with Joel Embiid, bro.
He has. I would agree with that. I don't know. I think Mikal Bridges is a guy that I probably overvalue him because of his defense. I think he is one of the true locks. But he's good, dude. Yeah. He is really good. Diesel D says Miles Bridges is in jail. He played for the Hornets. Right. Yeah. He has a domestic violence
I know.
thing.
We got it.
Listen, I don't think we did it. I could be wrong.
Right.
It's easy to interchange Miles and Mikal Bridges.
Uh-huh.
Like that's not a hard mistake to make. So I don't think we did that, but it is what it is. It is what it be. Okay, a couple more before football at 50. Jesse Harsh says, hot take, Grizzlies fall off a cliff because of the target on their back. Too young still. Well, you know what, Jess? That might not be the hottest take in the world because there's a lot of people who think they're 5, 6, 7 in the West. So,
I don't know, man. I have trouble thinking a Ja Morant-led team is going to fall off.
Listen, I think what's interesting is that you have on that team, like looking at their cap. I think if you look at their cap and you look at the money that they spend, and they were number 2 in the West, how do you not fall off of that?
Because I think you have everybody.
God, they're amazing, dude.
Like they have everybody still.
Yeah, but they're. Is this an idiotic statement? Are they tested?
Yes, but they haven't overcome that yet. They've been in tough situations. They haven't overcome yet.
They've got to do. And Jaren Jackson's a good player.
He is. The Jazz know all about it.
He's not that guy.
I don't know about that.
I'd want to upgrade that. I mean, I just think you have so many good wing players here. You need a better. They rotate their bigs. And by the way, he's hurt way too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's some upgrades they could do on that team, but I don't know if they fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who think they're not top 3. I would agree that they're 5, 6, 7. I think when I look at what's going on in the West, and I know we got to get to football at 50 here, but when you look at what's going on in the West, I look at the teams that last year, and I want to say they were 4th. Dallas was 4th. I think it's Golden State 1. How good is Minnesota? That's
they
still
play
a great
in the
unknown.
East. Yeah, they play in the East. Remember?
Stop.
Remember?
Don't perpetuate. How good are they? That's a huge question. How good are the Minnesota Timberwolves? I mean, I think they're top 3 in the West. I mean, how are you going to score on them?
Yeah. We'll see.
Like how are
You're
you
going to shoot threes? That's how.
Yeah. I guess I guess so. Football 50, 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Make sure you use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your order of $25 or more at papamurphyspizza.com. Hey, download their app. It's so easy. And the thing I love about the app at Papa Murphy's is not only can I include the chocolate chip cookie dough to take home and bake with my
Which
pizza.
Is bomb.
The cookies are so good. I can customize my pizza. I can do everything I want in the app, but I can also schedule the pickup super easy. I can order it at 10 a.m. I can pick it up at 5 o'clock, and it's fresh and ready to go the minute I walk in the door at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Let's talk about the biggest stories in the NFL. I think this deal with Mike Evans. Where do you come down on the Mike Evans suspension? So Mike Evans, the Bucs receiver, as you know.
Yeah.
He didn't come off the bench, by the way. He was on the field, sprinted over to Marshawn Lattimore, and I mean, he laid that ass out.
Yes.
2 hands on the chest, knocked him to the ground. Bench clearing brawl like it was crazy. Is it justifiable to suspend him 1 game?
Yeah. I mean, if you're the Bucs, you're going to be pissed about it. I get it. But, yeah, it's completely justifiable. I think that the NFL has rules, and their job is to police those rules. I don't think this is something to be outraged about. Like, yeah, sure, it's Tom Brady. Like, yeah, what do you want me to do? Totally get it, Mike. But at the same time, you know, you're not going to sit here and get away with decking a dude. Because
no punch was thrown.
No, but still, I mean, you're causing a fight.
And they did say they suspended him that game for a violation of on-field conduct, you know, that included violence.
Yeah.
So I get that.
But I don't blame him. I think it's great football. I think that's what football is. I think when you play for Tom Brady, there is no other expectation. If someone's messing with Tom Brady, they're messing with the whole team basically.
Mike Evans is a huge impact player. I don't know.
But it's 1 week, dude. Come on.
And by the way, he could probably use the rest.
Yeah.
No, he's battling an injury. Then there's this Amazon Prime situation.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime put out a statement from their director of streaming professional sports that says, quote, "Our first exclusive Thursday night broadcast delivered the most watched night of prime time in the U.S. in the history of Prime Video." They're saying that Thursday Night Football last Thursday was the single biggest event in Prime Video history in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't care how you slice it. That's a successful broadcast. And I think Amazon Prime Video I think they're setting a trend here. I think they are potentially opening the door for somebody, and I don't think it's going to be the Pac-12, but I think for somebody to go head first in and say, okay, hey, our Tier 1 rights are going to Amazon Prime.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that when you have that kind of success, it makes perfect sense. But I also think you have to understand that everyone, like most Americans probably have a Prime account already, so it wasn't like you really asked them to do anything more. You just turned on Amazon.
In the comments, do you think most Americans have an Amazon Prime account?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
You do. In the comments, real quick, hit us up. Do you have an Amazon Prime account? That's really interesting. You know what? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not
put a percentage on that.
Like, I think probably 40-50% of
Wow.
Americans have Prime
really?
accounts. Yes.
You think half of Americans have an Amazon Prime account?
Amazon grew exponentially during the pandemic. You telling me that most Americans don't have a Prime account? Come on, dude.
Diesel D says I don't. Diesel D says he doesn't have a Prime account. That makes you look stupid, Jake.
Well, that's cool.
You're like, yeah, I don't care. Wow, look at this. Look at everybody going. T-Money says yes. Eric and Raleigh says I have a Prime account. Talking with Raphael podcast.
Yeah, suck it, Diesel D.
Says I sure do have Prime.
See? Told you.
Let's see. VT says, yup. Look at all these people. Connor Tulin says, I do. Jesse Harsh says, yeah, bruh. You know, Jeremy Bolton says, who doesn't have an Amazon Prime account
that's
now?
What I'm saying,
Next
bro.
day shipping is a must. Totally agree. Tom Basilius, I didn't know I did, but I do.
My point exactly.
Giggity says, no Prime, just use the family's login when needed. See?
But you see my point, so he's got access.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Yes, Mrs. Monty.
So, according to the Google, it says that there are 163.5 million American in the United States Amazon Prime members, but they expect that to grow to 100.
Say that number again. How many? What?
There's 163.5 million in 20.
163 million Americans have Amazon Prime?
Yes, dude.
That is stunning. How many What? 163 million Prime accounts in the U.S.
Billions of people.
Right,
in the
I
US,
get that, but are you serious? At 100 and wow, bro.
To put that into perspective, in 2020, the census said there were 329.5 million people living in the United
Almost
States.
half
so
of all
you're right,
Americans?
It is about half. Wow.
Are you kidding me? Almost half of you degenerate shopping losers. Are you kidding?
And it's estimated now that number grew a couple million to 332 million.
Yeah, like
that is stunning to me.
It makes it so easy.
Half of Americans have.
Dude, why do you think the mall is closing? Like,
truth.
Yeah.
Bro, half of Americans have Prime accounts?
Dude.
That's crazy.
It's now confirmed.
I don't know why that's so shocking to me, but that's 163. So it's probably more than that now.
Yeah.
So let's call it 170 million.
Yes.
That's insane, dude. That is insane. That's 340 million. More than half of Americans.
Yes.
That's nuts. Well, there you go. Yeah. Jansen says yes. Holabilly says I do. Jesse Harsh says, like a normal person, I use family members.
But my point is that while that's funny, my point though is that someone like Jesse has access to the
Tom
game.
Basilius says, I found out on Thursday night found out I do for Thursday Night Football. James Knight says, I'm in Australia and you have an Amazon Prime account in Australia.
Yeah, it's global, man.
Teddy Wayman says, I love Prime.
I only gave you the numbers for the U.S.
Kanai Johnson says, I do. Oh, wow. So
now I
it's
got to
be easily double that globally. God damn, we need a pay raise. Are you serious that they have that many people?
He said we need a pay raise.
No wonder he's going to the moon on penis-shaped rockets.
200 million Prime accounts globally.
That's stupid money.
Dude.
That's stupid money. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
Prime Day revenue was $11.7 billion.
Good Lord. What?
Dude.
I know that Amazon's a huge company.
And by the way,
don't get me wrong.
This is even more shocking.
It.
Amazon Prime is only available in 22 countries.
How do they have that many people in 22 countries?
Bro, what?
And this dude started this out of a bookstore in his garage?
What?
Fuck out of here. I'm in the wrong line of business. I am in the wrong line of business. I want a penis-shaped rocket ship.
Turn the drops back up. So wait, let me get this right. Yesterday, some old lady dies in England and gets a funeral of millions of people doing absolutely nothing. This guy starts this out of a basement and now is a gazillionaire and yeah.
Right.
You know,
penis-shaped rocket into space.
Come on, man.
What are we doing? How are we living life this poorly?
Jesus.
Like, how are we?
Because he kept his crappy Honda Accord or whatever it was. All the way into he didn't spend his money on other things until he had too much money to spend.
How many shoes
what the fuck
I'm
does
just
one
saying.
thing have to
Homeboy
do
was on his
with
knees
the
in
other?
his garage.
Whoa. Oh, packing books.
Mommy, please take me home.
Super frugal. They
I don't know,
build
man.
Desks out of doors.
I feel like we might be in the wrong line of business. This dude, now I know why he can afford penis-shaped rocket ships.
Because everybody wants 2-day shipping.
Yeah, he flew himself to space. I got 2-day shipping on lights that are coming today. Because we are Prime members. Football 50 presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza.
No one goes all in on made-from-scratch freshness like Papa Murphy's. Because when you go all in, people notice. Go all in with the Triple Pet Pizza for just $11.99. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
All right, there you go. Football 50 presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. Use the promo code Monty25 for 25% off your order of $25 or more. I'm stunned. I am stunned. The Monty Show is presented by the Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. I don't know. Like, I don't get, like, man, I'm trying to be Mr. Entrepreneur here. How has he got that? 200 million subs in just 22 countries. That's insane. What does Amazon Prime cost per month now?
It's not per month.
It's
annual.
not?
Yeah.
Oh, what's it cost annually?
It is?
It's like
what?
It's a little over $100. I can't remember the exact cost.
Okay, that's a bargain. Just think about that money.
It's $14.99 a month or $139 a year.
139. And how many people did you say he has?
In the U.S., he's got, I think the number was 130 million.
$139 times 130 million. Oh, fuck off. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, but I'll tell you that subscription gets sucked up, like that cost with the shipping and returns.
Come on.
It gets sucked up pretty quick.
You can return
but the guy
everything,
is
and the
still
guy
a
is
trillionaire.
The guy,
yeah. It's not a great that cost. They
good
make
for you,
money off of their
Bezos.
sales.
Good for you, Bezos. If that's what this dude's rolling with, you know, like. Good for you, but that's $1 trillion.
Because it's garbage.
Damn it. And he started selling books in his garage.
Listen, I don't have go to space for free money, okay?
Yeah, no, clearly neither do I.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. Good morning, Mrs. Monty. Good to see you.
Well, hey, good morning.
As usual, the Monty Show is presented by the Utah Advocates, Utah's best injury attorneys. No matter where you are, frankly, no matter where you listen to this, if you have an issue, you need an injury attorney, get to UtahAdvocates.com. I've known Matt Driggs for 10 years. Matt Driggs and I have been in business together. He supported our show at 1320 KFan, the sports leader, and was fantastic to us then. He's back on the show now. And I can only tell you that if I'm ever in an accident, I'm going to the Advocates. Like, that's a guy that you can believe in. That firm is unbelievable. Their lawyers are the best of the best. And you know how you know? Because they're not asking you for a huge upfront payment. There's no retainers at the Advocates. When you go to the Advocates, you don't pay until they win your case. Their consultations are free. They're going to defer your medical bills because, again, you didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate. That's why you go to UtahAdvocates.com. All right, time for marriage advice.
Uh-oh.
Which you shouldn't get from Jeff Bezos.
Right.
Man, I am just stuck on that now. Like, I cannot believe that's how much Amazon is worth.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy. Thankfully, we own Amazon stock because, I mean, my God. And that's just Prime. It's like, do you get Prime Video with your Prime membership, right?
Yes. Yes, you get Prime Video, which includes some free.
Do you have any idea how much we spent on Amazon Prime? Yeah, no kidding. Tariqi's like, yeah, Amazon bought Whole Foods.
Yeah.
They can afford it.
I'm going to say this again.
Yeah.
Eric says, say garbage again, Monty, and then pronounce it correctly. Garbage.
Garbage.
Garbage. I don't. Amazon banking bucks because of their cloud service, Brett Burnett says. Yeah, that doesn't even include AWS.
Yeah.
No, that's just.
God almighty.
Bezos
Bezos is getting more than Prime subscription money sucked up. Okay, well, there is that. Jesse Harsh says, Monty wants to be like Leo in the pick behind him. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know. VT says he pays monthly. Okay. Brent Burnett says Prime does offer lots of value, but how they do it and have done it is very wrong to third parties. Yeah, I don't care. I'll take the penis-shaped rocket ship. Like,
On to Cincinnati.
and the funny thing is, you know what you're getting into when you're going to and this is the thing. I always say this about everybody who's in business. You know what you're getting into as a third party.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're getting into. And if you don't, you should. Anyway, can we talk about Tom and Giselle's Bunchton?
Yeah, Giselle's Bunchton. Jizzy.
All right. Don't steal my vernacular. Time for marriage advice with Uncle Monty. On the Monty Show.
As you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
TB12 and Giselle's Bunchton
All right.
have apparently reached a compromise. So you know that Giselle took her Bunchton and left because she did not want Tommy, to go back and play in the NFL.
Pack this thing up. We're out of here.
So she said, well, why don't you go ahead and give the Monty Show a thumbs up? Well, he describes how I'm upset that Tommy wanted to continue to play a kid's game and get millions of dollars. So I took my Bunchton and moved out until he decided that Wednesdays are family day in the Tom Brady house now. Tom Brady will not be practicing or working on Wednesdays anymore because he will be hopefully spending time with Giselle's Bunchton and the kids.
Yeah.
Fair compromise?
Vexes me.
I don't know. That's up to them. But Homeboy looks like he needs to eat. Hopefully he's gonna eat something on Wednesdays, because I saw that picture of him and I was like, oh my God.
I'm sorry, did you say hopefully he's going to eat something on Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Giselle's Bunchton. That's what he's... No, okay, Austin.
Whatever. But I was like, he's starting to look... you can see the stress. You can definitely see the stress is taking a toll on him, because
no doubt.
He doesn't look as fresh.
Well, I mean... And here's the truth about this conversation. Like, marriage is hard.
Right.
Let's be honest about it. Marriage is very difficult. And when you're married to another Titan as a Titan, not like the Tennessee Titans, but when you're like a gazillionaire, it's very difficult to be married to another gazillionaire. And I think compromise is such a difficult thing to achieve in marriage. And I think when you're Giselle and you feel like you've compromised for the kids for all these years, and you probably have walked fewer runways because you've spit out 2 kids, and you know, you've given your body to the family, and you wanted to move on. You wanted it, by all accounts, Giselle wanted to move on to another phase of life. She didn't want to be a football player's wife anymore. She wanted to be Mrs. Tom Brady.
Right.
I totally understand that. But again, I'm curious who drives the car in that family, because I think this is a big win for Tom Brady. One, he doesn't need to practice on Wednesdays. Let's be honest about it. He is a guy that works 7 days a week. He is well prepared. He is a guy that obsessively watches video. He obsessively studies his defenses. This guy doesn't need Wednesday. I think this is a win for Tom Brady. Who wins here? If Tom Brady's not practicing on Wednesday, and there's a right answer to this, who do you think wins? In that compromise, who won?
I don't know, man. I think it depends how you look at it. I don't think there's a correct answer.
Yeah,
I think from
and
a life
I don't think
perspective,
we have enough information.
I think from a life perspective, you know, I guess Tom in both situations wins, because if he doesn't practice on Wednesday, you know, family stuff is better. He probably rests his body that's, you know, frail and, you know, needs to eat more, you know, linguine. You know, but I think that, you know, for Tom, you know, Tom is just, the thing is, he's a generational athlete. He's accomplished things that nobody else has accomplished. And I think that I just can't get past this concept of you're basically trying to tell a guy to stop playing who is the greatest of all time to ever do something. And that, for me, is difficult.
I think there is no winner here. And I think this is the key. In marriage, I think you lose when you try to win. When you're solely focused on winning the argument, I think you lose every single time. Even when you win, you lose. Right? Because if you're arguing about money and you know, you're like, hey, we can't afford Amazon Prime anymore, cancel it. And you have some big fight over it and you wind up canceling it. Who feels good about that?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've probably been in that situation 100 times.
Yeah.
Where you don't...
Yeah. Like, there's no winning. And that's what I was going to say when you said who drives the car in that relationship. Man, you take turns driving, because if there's only one person driving, that's one that's going to burn out.
Yeah.
Burn out fast. And honestly, after last night's game and, you know, the neck snapping that we saw, I would be like, yeah,
God, how about that?
I'm not real comfortable with you playing football.
But
now,
see,
he's not the tackler. He's being tackled
right,
more.
But if you look at their situation, Tom very rarely is in that situation. Now, it only takes a split second. By the way, the guy in the game last night, the corner for the Bills, is fine. He has got full movement, all of his extremities. They're redoing CTs and MRIs, but it looks like he avoided a major injury. It was
because it looked like his entire head snapped off.
It did. I mean, that was
horrific.
That was Scorpion to the max. But my point is, Tom is not in those situations.
That wasn't even a scorpion, dude. That was just a rip your head off.
That was a Pez dispenser, more like. Yeah, I mean,
dude,
it was gnarly. But
a Pez dispenser?
Yeah.
Dude, you're really using a candy dispenser to compare this guy's neck?
His head almost came off his body.
Okay. Yeah. That That it made
What
me
is it?
uncomfortable.
I mean, we thought we were watching Live Golf or something because it had to go
man. No.
Okay, too soon.
No.
Anyways, we'll move on. My point is, I think there's no winning arguments in marriage.
Yeah.
And I think that's, if we truly are as adults going to take any lesson out of this, you've got to stop, especially for men. And I think this is a really tough lesson for men to learn. There's two things you can never do. You can never lie down, but you can also never win the argument.
Mm-hmm.
There is real value as in being a man of not always having to be right, not always having to be the alpha. And I think it's a hard lesson to learn. We've been married 25 years. We've been together almost 28 years. And it probably was within the last 7 years that I've learned, like, you don't have to be right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Being wrong actually has a lot of value in it, only if you're willing to say, hey, you know what, I was wrong about that. And when you're willing to say, hey, you know what, we had that argument and I didn't handle that well. I could have handled that better. I could have.
If I say it is.
Yeah, I could have said it a different way. Like and that's one of the greatest drops ever, by the way. But
It is if I say it is.
I think there's real value in not winning, because all you're doing is improving your relationship with your wife, but you're also improving your relationship with yourself.
But no
which
one's
I
going
mean,
to disrespect me.
yeah, and listen, but in all seriousness, with that Mike Tyson drop about respect, I think respect is huge. But if you don't respect yourself, I think you're all is lost anyways. And I think the real lesson and the reason that this Tom and Giselle thing is such a role model moment is because I think it teaches you that you have to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Inside of your marriage, you are playing a role. And I think if you don't play that role, and if one of you is always laying down, if one of you is like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll go hiking. Because Mrs. Monty and I are very different people. Like, Mrs. Monty loves to hike. I do not enjoy hiking. That does not mean I don't go hiking.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mrs. Monty does not love watching basketball. She does not like going to basketball games. That doesn't mean she doesn't. We compromise. We find those things. And we were talking about this yesterday, oddly enough. One of the things I think matters is I'm not a huge fan of Indian food. But we go to a place called Saffron Circle in Riverton because Mrs. Monty loves her some Indian food.
Yeah.
She loves her some Saffron Circle. So I go there and I do that. She doesn't love JCWs. We go to JCWs occasionally.
Uh-huh.
Like, you just have to learn to compromise.
My favorite food is chicken tendies and fries.
Well, thankfully, we both like chicken tendies and fries.
All right.
Or not thankfully, but thankfully. My point is, in all of this is, when you are willing to be humble and you are willing to admit when you're wrong, as clearly Giselle Bündchen and Tom Brady have done here, because it'd be easy for them to get divorced.
It's my quarterback.
When money doesn't mean anything to you, the escape hatch is very easily used.
Right.
They're clearly working on their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so many, whether it's the Kardashians, look at like Kanye and Kim K, and it's so easy just to like give away your marriage.
Right. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You see that settlement that Kim K got? Ouch.
No, I didn't.
Damn.
What are you referencing? What do you mean?
Kim K and Kanye in their split. I think she got like $60 million or something crazy. More than, it was funny. They were saying it was more than Michael Jordan ever paid, and more than, oh man.
You got to look that up.
I'll look that up. But yeah, she got a boatload.
Yeah.
And then she bought a house in Malibu. Looking at the water.
But alimony,
you had a good thing
settlements.
Here going. You had a good thing going here. Don't mess it up.
First of all, and I know this is probably going to be uncouth, she's not hot. Kim Kardashian, in my opinion, I don't understand why people trip over her booty. I don't get it. Second of all, alimony, child support, like divorce settlements, I think are so tilted towards the women in family court. It's so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that doesn't mean you shouldn't take care of your kids, and that, hey, I totally, the Bezoses and the penis-shaped rocket ship, she got what she needed. You know, like Mrs. Bill Gates got what she needed. You're going to bang a chick at the office, there's a price to pay for that. It's called alimony.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. But why does Kim K need any of Kanye's money?
She doesn't.
Somebody
that's not
explain
the point.
that to me.
That's not the point.
Well, what's
the point? Is the premise of it that Kanye wouldn't take his bipolar medication, and that
he would not.
That rubbed her the wrong way, and the family the wrong way, and so.
Are you? It's $2.1 billion. God damn it!
No, she didn't get that. That's like she got.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing?
My mind is blown.
God explain to me why my ass is not worth $2.1 billion.
Damn, I am tripping.
2.1 billion. And I just read, and this is from Forbes.
But that's not what she got.
Inside the $2.1 billion.
2.1.
Inside the $2.1 billion Kim Kardashian divorce settlement. Like, are you serious? Kanye West is the richer of the two, but much of his net worth is tied up in his liquid apparel company, Yeezy. West owns 100% of the $1.62 billion brand and earns about 11% of Yeezy's annual revenue. Kim Kardashian West is worth $780 million, though her wealth is also tied up in the Eponymous brand. Kim K's fortune is much more liquid than Kanye's.
Yeah.
Oh, $100 million.
Oh, okay, cool.
Excuse me.
Well, thank God. It's only $100 million. Well, okay, I was worried. I'm in the wrong line. I will just say this again, whether it's, not to be flamboyant, penis-shaped rocket ships or huge ass implants. I'm in the wrong line of work.
Huge ass implants.
I am in the wrong line of work. I freely admit.
Jeez.
I am in the wrong line of work. Like,
Yeah.
how are you that? She got $100 million.
Yeah, dude. Yes, she did. Yep.
And shouldn't she have to pay that back because she named her kid Northwest? Like, what am I missing?
Not to be confused with Southwest, the airline.
Yeah, you know.
All right.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, real quick because we have to go. Exactly. Tariq says greed. Avery Forbes says, why do a rich wife need a rich husband's money? Thank you. Jansen says, funny enough, I'm wearing my Yeezys right now.
Thank
Mike
you for supporting
Maples,
the divorce.
None of them are hot. A plastic robot cannot be considered hot. Thank you. Is anybody all natural anymore?
No.
Teddy Wayman says Kim Kardashian is super hot. Get out of here. Get out of here.
What now? Let me tell you what now.
Whatever. Tom and Giselle, if these two kids can make it, is there hope for anyone else? Kind of kidding, but not kidding, you know? Kidding. Jesse Harsh says, we trip because it's so big.
Okay, you need to chill out, bro.
Talking with Raphael podcast says, listen to a lot of people to choose the peach or the pear. I like the combo. Okay. That's fine. Finally, before we leave, because Jake is stressing over the clock. Miami Vice was released in 1984. This week in 1984. If either one of you say something mean about Miami Vice, I will get butt implants.
It's an erection.
Miami Vice is my... Why are you looking like that? Miami Vice is my favorite show all time.
Why?
One of.
Why?
Because it's cops and it's hot chicks and it's like Miami. It's everything that you've dreamed of being, and maybe that's why Kim K's hot. I have no idea. But Miami Vice is what I grew up watching on TV. Like, I was born in the generation of great cop shows.
Must be nice.
Hill Street... Guy, you have Chicago PD. And NYPD Blue. Sipplettes.
NYPD Blue is not in my time.
Sipplettes.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, NYPD Blue.
Get the hell out of here with that.
Is Sipplettes a venereal disease?
Get the hell out of here.
We had Hill Street Blues.
We did.
We had NYPD Blue. We had Chips.
Law and Order.
Original Law and Order. Yeah.
Andy
we had
Griffith?
all the good.
What about Andy Griffith? That was a great cop show.
Wow.
Now I'm going to
I
pray.
said the other day, and we're driving around in Hawaii. I'm like, hey, babe, wasn't Andy Griffith a great show? Did you ever watch it? And she was like, yeah, it was on in the house. Like, Andy Griffith is a great show.
Everybody had to watch it. When you look back at it, though.
Tremendous. No? No? Jake, have you ever seen the Andy Griffith Show?
Nope.
Not once with Opie
Nope.
Taylor?
Nope.
Wow.
He's got better things to do with his life.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I give up. I just snotted on my face. Mrs. Monty, your all-time favorite TV show. Downton Abbey.
This is corny stuff.
No, I would have to say probably. What is wrong with you?
Nothing. I feel great. What is your? Look at the look of disdain on her face.
I don't even. What am I working with here?
It was
Not
the
much.
virus that killed it.
Not much.
It's difficult to say. Game of Thrones was amazing. I really do think that they knocked that out of the park.
Well said.
I have not watched
Game of Thrones is your favorite show ever.
It's like, how do you say favorite show ever?
Miami
I
Vice.
would rewatch it. I would totally rewatch Game of Thrones.
We haven't even watched the new one, by the way. Like we've really slacked on the dragon porn.
We don't have any time.
Excuse me, the dragon porn?
Yeah, that's what people call Game of Thrones. Did you not know that? Game of Thrones is rightfully referred to by Howard Stern as dragon porn.
Dragon porn, I like it.
Yeah.
But we haven't had any time.
Yeah, we still have not watched the last episode of Peaky Blinders.
Right.
Yeah, we
have
that
one
to finish.
episode left.
Yeah.
I'm waiting until all the Game of Thrones is done, and then we can binge it on a weekend or something.
Okay.
But
Daenerys Targaryen, still one of the sexiest characters in TV history. Young Jake Montemayor.
Game of Thrones all day.
Really?
Yeah, all day.
Was Game of Thrones that good that it's like all-time TV show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Before we leave, let's get some of your favorite TV shows. House of Dragons is good, Teddy Wayman says. Oh, T-Money! T-Money! He says The Wire. Thank you. Thank you. Talking with Raphael, The Wire. Thank you. Diesel D says The Walking Dead. Boyd Lake says John Hammer in Miami Vice. Classic. Thank you. Jansen says, my mom made me watch the Andy Griffith Show with her when I would go to visit. It holds up. It does hold up. Ooh, Oz. T-Money. Yes, Oz is a good show.
Okay, what the hell was that?
I've
Bro.
no idea what happened there.
Bro.
The
My
West
guy?
Wing is
The West Wing.
like a top one.
And not, you know the problem is, though, so is House of Cards, but now that we know what's his name is a pedo, like I can't...
We all dropped off House of Cards once it got too weird, though.
What's his name?
Once
Kevin
he started
Spacey.
having sex with the security guard, like...
You guys ever want
Kick it will flow. Yeah, no. Once Kevin Spacey came out as a pedo, that was it. I was done. Like you just can't. You can't support that. Ooh, Friday Night Lights. Okay. Alex Caruso Highlights is the best all-time TV show.
There you go.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Yeah. Who is? What do you mean? Westworld. Teddy Wayman says never seen it. Justified was a great show. Hell on Wheels. Okay. Jeremy Bolton says I can watch Breaking Bad and Parks and Rec multiple times. Everybody says that about Parks and Rec.
The Bridge was a great show while it was on.
The Bridge.
The Bridge was such a great show.
You know the other show that's highly underrated as a cop show? Southland.
Yeah, Southland.
You watch
is
The
excellent.
Bridge. Don't look over there like you're crazy. You
The
watch
one about Juarez and the cartel.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, that was totally a good show, but then it went away.
They just killed it. Yeah. it just didn't,
the Matthew McConaughey police show. True Detective.
Dang.
True Detective was
That
good.
was good with some of it, but then I think there was one that we didn't like. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, we like a good cop show.
All right, cool. Make sure you go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Please give us a like. That really helps the show grow. Really appreciate you guys being here on the program. Did I miss somebody tipped us and I missed it? Dude, if I missed your tip today, I'm a terrible person. Yes, there it is. Justin Salas.
Bro.
My bad. Justin Salas gave us $1.99. The NFL song is still playing, just FYI. It is? What do you mean it's still playing?
Well, no, that was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
The NFL song is not playing right now.
My bad. Kill the music. He said, I don't know. Okay. My bad. All right, let's end the show now because it's awkward. The Monty Show is presented by The Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business are The Advocates. Hey, man, they know that you didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate. That's why you go to UtahAdvocates.com. Can we all whistle the theme to Andy Griffith? Jake, go ahead. Take it away. Take it away, Jake. It's the Andy Griffith Show, bro. Bro.